What is going on? Happy Wednesday. It's the platform sports talk show, your Wednesday night sports delight. I am your boy Smooth along with,
Funny,
because when it's about sports
it becomes our business.
and business, like Ludic said, business just picked up. What is going on over there, Bunny?
Hump day, hump day, hump day.
Yes, yes, yes. How has your day been?
Hump day, hump day, hump day. I'm trying to get over the hump. I'm trying.
All the meanings, all the
I'm,
feels, huh?
man, I'm just trying to get over the hump. How you doing? What's going on in your world?
Man, everything is good. Busy, busy week. As you probably seen or already knew, Jonathan, my best friend, got married. So I had a
Congratulations, Jonathan, to
yeah,
my classmate too. Shout out to him.
yeah, Tiffany.
Congratulations to
Shouts
them.
out to her. Great time, a wonderful occasion. Held it down, doing what keeping it smooth. You know how I do. But it was all good.
Okay.
It was all
Did y'all
good.
get to try to practice some social distancing?
Oh yeah, we had the mask thing going. We ain't playing no games. We ain't got time to try to catch no Rona.
I want no parts of that Rona.
No parts of the Rona. How things going so far with the job?
Hey man, this is week number 4, I believe. I lost count already. Maybe it's week 3. Well, it's going. I'm learning the ropes slowly but surely. I
Yeah,
must say, I'm happy to be employed. That's the main thing.
there it
But
is.
I'm gonna show off my skills soon.
Nice, nice. And for those watching for the first time, thank you very much. Goes down every Wednesday night, as you see on your screen on the bottom. Occasionally on Thursdays, if maybe a certain guest couldn't do a Wednesday, we try to accommodate them and do a
Hmm.
Thursday night special. But this week we just have one show, and it's definitely gonna be fun. For those once again
That's
checking
what we
us out,
do.
how you doing? Make sure y'all give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. As you see, we're live on all 4 platforms as of today.
Man, you are just doing bigger and better things with this
Hey,
show. I ain't ready. We
that's
on 4 now?
that's what it's all
What?
about. Hey, like I had on the post, progress is sexy. We always trying to keep on getting
Hey, watch out
get
now.
get
Watch out.
getting bigger and better with it. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to make it happen.
Oh, shoot.
And please feel free throughout the whole show to bring those comments, those questions, especially when we have our
Please.
special guests on, which should be coming on momentarily. If y'all have any funny stories you want to bring out, whatever it is, this is the
We
time to
here
do
for it.
it.
Let's do this.
We here for it. Keep it 100. Keep it a buck, like B Baker be saying. Shouts out to him. We just want to make sure that we, give those our guests, should I say, the flowers while they're here, and definitely look
Yeah,
forward to having them.
let's talk about keeping it 100 because a certain person on the show was talking about the Lakers and the Lake Show
Oh
and how the
yeah.
Heat was going to give them a little bit of a challenge, and everybody was thinking, gentlemen sweep. Oh, no, they're going to sweep them. Mm,
Hey, now
mm.
now a sweep and gentleman sweep are two different things. Don't forget.
I know, but still, y'all said both. And Bunny was still right. I said at least 2 games the Heat will get.
Yep.
Did that not
Congrats.
happen?
Congrats. You were right.
Thank you. I don't know why y'all sleeping on my skills. I mean, my line. What do I know? I never coached. I never played professionally. I still know a little something though. Just a
Yep.
little.
And as she is, what is she referring to right now? Of course, is the Los Angeles Lakers or your 2019/20 NBA champions as they defeated
Hey, yes.
the Miami Heat 42. Uh, yeah, great series. It was very entertaining. Then it just got
Mm-hmm.
to a point in which Jimmy Butler couldn't do it all, and
Jimmy Bucket's gonna do so much. He's one man. The whole, man can't carry for a whole series.
yeah, so you could tell during game what 5, or excuse me, game 6 that he was wearing down, and he only had like what 13 points. So that's what happens in the series. That's why it's called a series. It's all about
Yep.
what you do from game to game. But
Yep.
on the other end, LeBron, 4 rings, legacy. What are your thoughts on that?
It's similar to what I said before with comparing him with Jordan, him being a GOAT. LeBron already had his legacy without this ring. He's done more than enough to prove, of course, Hall of Famer, first ballot, number one. But um, I know the talk is being GOAT because he's done 3 championships with 3 different teams, and that's commendable. I like him. I mean, that's my dude. He's a real deal. But I still put on even with number two with him and Kobe. Jordan's still my number one.
Okay.
Shout out to LeBron. Hold it down, get another ring. No, he earned it.
Yeah, and it's just amazing how 2 years ago, 3 years ago, this team stayed one of the worst teams in the Western Conference. Didn't reach the playoffs in
Mm-hmm.
years, and in 2 years, LeBron James led them to a
Yeah.
championship.
Never,
And
last year would have been different if he wouldn't have gotten injured. Once he got injured on that Christmas Day game, it
right,
all fell off.
right,
I mean, previous season, but we know he's a game changer. Time he goes on one team makes the biggest difference. So again, he's great. He's really great.
yeah, it is. So
Don't take that from him. He's still tired of Kobe to me. MJ's not number one.
yeah, but yeah, no, definitely shouts out to him, man, for what this man has done on the field. Excuse me,
And off.
right on the court, off, just doing big things as he has been for 17, 17
That's a
years.
special number. I love that.
That's
Oh,
truly amazing. But definitely shouts out to what he has been doing.
oh, don't forget also, shout out to our WNBA champion, Seattle Storm, MVP Breonna Stewart.
And another seven
Congratulations to those ladies again. Another championship.
and another 17-year vet, Sue Bird, won what her fourth title, just like LeBron. So like they on the same parallel track.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty amazing. So definitely shouts out to the to LeBron, to Sue Bird, to Seattle, to the Lakers, West Coast, doing big things right now in basketball.
Yeah, buddy.
They are doing big things. And on a local tip, I do want to give a shout out to she's currently the owner of the St. Louis Surge, but she's going to be
Mm-hmm.
taking off a certain role because now she's going to be the VP of Community Relations, and that is
Yep.
Kalia Collier.
Shout out. Congratulations to her.
Man, big things.
I was happy to read that.
I
Mm-hmm.
love the direction that the MLS is taking, acquiring or hiring certain, people in regards to certain roles. And they're really trying to make this a really big deal for St. Louis, bring the community together. And I have a feeling with her success track record with what she was doing with the St. Louis Surge, that she's going to do that.
Yes. And again, the MLS team in St. Louis, the SC, are keeping a women owned theme, the women owned in these leadership positions. So I'll shout out to them. It's not just for the pictures and the tax breaks or whatever, but it's truly a statement. They want women to be in powerful positions and in the sports world. So breaking barriers. So I'm proud of the club. And again, congratulations to her.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. So let's go ahead and should we go ahead and get into a little bit of football talk right now? Cause man, well, before I get to that, I know college football. It was just announced in the last maybe 2 hours that Nick Saban now has
Got
COVID.
that Rona.
He got the Rona. It's like
Got that
hey,
Rona,
it
man.
has
I'm not surprised.
it doesn't pick and choose. It just hey, if you in the way, you there. And
I mean, not being funny because it's a serious thing, but how he says, if you in the way, it's coming for you.
it don't say oh
I'm not
that's
surprised because Tuscaloosa was having high numbers right when the semester started, and think
hmm
about all his players, those college players. They've been at those parties and other gatherings down there, and any other coach who touches their players and who's at parties and stuff. I mean, they're even though we call them adults, some of them are still, doing childish things, living reckless, which I expect. I mean,
and then
it is what it is.
we had the conversation a while back how they showed that big overload of people coming to a practice game and no one had their mask on in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody think because y'all roll tide that y'all just above everything else. No, you can still get it. And now the main attraction got it. So, but we do hope for
Nobody is immune or invincible from it. Ask our president, ask our governor. Just
right,
saying.
right. But we do want to lift our prayers up to him and that he has a full recovery and continues on doing what he's doing.
Yeah, 'cause that is a slippery slope. You do all these young men and these young players, yet he is of a age group of the older group that could be, and serious if it does some any damage to him. Just like when college basketball come around, a lot of those coaches are over 60 years old. At least enough of the high profile coaches are over 60 years old, and that's a vulnerable group.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we do hope for the best for him that he, like I said, gets better and he's back and doing what he's doing best. So let's go ahead and get right into the NFL talk. Once again, had a few games that got pushed to the side a little bit because certain players or majority of a team had COVID.
Have it. Another
Man,
outbreak,
it's
another
just
outbreak.
just crazy, right? But
Watch a makeup game right now because of an outbreak from the past. But
right,
yeah,
like first time ever happened, I think Tuesday night football, right?
exactly. You thinking like, oh, this must be a pre-recorded game? Nah, this live.
Well, no, yeah, you talking about from last night, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Last night's one.
right. So last Thursday we had Tampa Bay and the Bears, in which it was a great game for Thursday night football, and Tom Brady didn't realize that it was already fourth down when he threw a pass to the middle of the field, and it was incomplete. He thought they had another down. He like, what's going on? Like, why is everybody excited like it's the end of the game? Well, Tom, uh, problem is, yeah, it was because you didn't realize that it was four downs already occurred, and Tampa Bay lost that game. What was your thoughts on seeing Tom Brady have a little slip up mentally?
You talking about like a senior moment because he's 42?
No, he about 85.
Uh, it was a senior moment. My bad, my bad. That's all he could say is a senior moment. It is what it is, but I give him credit because he did give a congratulations to LeBron James for winning championship. And I know one of the captions on Twitter was "Goat." Thank you, Goat. They giving each other props, and I commend them for that because people in other sports, some of them talk to each other, and some don't. But his slip up though, it was obvious. You had a senior moment, bro.
Right. And then the Sunday slew of games, you had Carolina at Atlanta, and Carolina won that game. Atlanta lost, and what did I say last week? That's going to
I'm
happen.
about to say we did talk about that last week about who's gonna be next coach to be fired NFL. You spoke it up. You said the next loss, even if it wasn't a loss, it's gonna happen anyway.
And Dan
He's out of
Quinn
there.
is gone. Vegas at the Chiefs, and who would have thought that the
That would be the
Chiefs,
first L for the Chiefs
man,
against the Raiders. Didn't see
Arizona,
that one coming.
Arizona at the Jets. Arizona won by 20
Okay,
points.
not no surprise.
Philadelphia at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh won that game. They're looking very good. I believe they undefeated right now.
I
Uh,
told y'all about them in division. Big Ben, he older too. I said Big Ben said he still got something,
you still
and he's
got that.
showing
You
y'all.
got you got that old juice, huh?
I told you it's the year of the what I tell you, the year of the older quarterbacks, the year of the geriatric quarterbacks, whatever I said
Uh
some
huh.
weeks ago. Because all of it, Rivers back in again. I mean, look, I'm jumping the gun, but just look at all these older quarterbacks and what they doing.
Right. You got Jurassic Park out there showing out. Shouts out to Miss Alice Williams. She says hi Fred, hi Bunny.
Hey, Miss Williams,
And
thanks for tuning in.
that team led by Cronky defeated the Washington football team by 20 points. Um, Baltimore defeated Cincinnati. Houston defeated Jacksonville. That was Houston's first win, ironically, after they let go of Bill O'Brien. Ain't that something?
Hmm. Yeah, but again, we talked about that last week. We knew that Texas coach need to be fired, and hopefully that's for the better, and they get their team together.
Right.
Because Deshaun Watson had no chance with that offense. I don't know what he was doing, especially as a GM. Yeah, I hope this is much better for them now.
And now check out this storyline. So Miami Dolphins defeated, I mean, they defeated the 49ers, but during the game, Jimmy G was told, get on the bench. We're gonna put in our backup quarterback. This man just went to the Super Bowl and had a chance to win the whole thing, and now he could be a second team. Ain't that crazy?
And what made them want to do that switch? I kind of got confused. I'm like, what happened to where he needed to be switched?
They just felt like he just wasn't providing anything offensively.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then let's see, Cleveland Browns. They what 4-1, defeated the Colts. The New York Giants, the Dallas Cowboys defeated the New York Giants, but a bigger loss, of course.
Dak is out, man.
Man, that injury, man. Every time you see those kind of injuries, it just makes you cringe. Like, man, that's just crazy. You think about Golden Hayward when he had his. Think about the kid from Louisville. You remember like what 5-10 years ago? He had that terrible leg injury doing
You can't even look at it. I can't even look at replays at all.
Man. Joe Theismann, Paul George. So many people who had those crazy injuries. So definitely prayers up. They're saying that about 6 to 8 months he'll be out, but get better, and hopefully either the Cowboys or some team will give him that contract that he deserves because he has been doing this thing.
It should be the Cowboys. Forget them. Like, look at them damn Cowboys. Y'all ain't putting no respect to Dak. Don't come looking for it now. Get another team to give you the money. Shoot.
All right.
Speaking of Dak Prescott, comeback player of the year. I know it's early, but Alex Smith. He didn't have a lethal leg injury. Almost got his leg amputated. This man has been on 2 different teams. Now he's on his 3rd one and can play. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Dude has he was missing 600 or something. He was gone from football for 600 or something days. That's a long time.
Yeah, it could have took 2 seasons, give or take, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. But definitely shouts out to him because not a lot of people can do what he did. So shouts out to him, especially in the football. It's just kind of different in football for some reason. Minnesota at Seattle. Great game right into the end. Seattle remains undefeated at 5-0.
And I tell you about my boy Russ. We got to do a rewind from my predictions at the beginning of this season. I promise you, man, my record should be pretty good. Just saying.
Monday Night Football was a great game. Chargers at New Orleans. New Orleans came through in overtime with that victory.
OT, baby.
But you had, I know Stan has to be happy with the QB play from his favorite college team, Oregon, and Justin Herbert doing his thing, slinging them dimes over the field and everything.
Slinging them dimes. I was getting nervous for Drew Brees, though. I thought maybe his time was coming. I mean, I said it's the year of the old head quarterbacks, but he's the only one that had me nervous. But playing out so good so far.
I keep getting that that Jurassic Park theme. Na, 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 na. And then last night, Tennessee at Buffalo. I'm sorry, Buffalo at Tennessee.
And Tennessee, somebody had to leave with the loss.
Yeah, Tennessee defeated Buffalo. Not right now. Now I think about it, I want to go ahead and give our condolences, or better yet, a rest in peace to the outer body of Josh Norman after he got trucked and thrown around like a rag doll by Derrick Henry last night.
Out of body for nah, really. That stiff arm was a whole nother level, though, huh?
If y'all didn't see that stiff arm, I mean, he threw this man like 5 feet off the ground, and tossed him like a wrestler.
Hey, this grown man league, he said, either come tackle me or get out the way. You need another Ludacris song.
Right.
Ooh.
Get out the way. Get out the way. What? Get out the way. All right. So now, this Sunday, no games tomorrow. Everything goes down on Sunday, and then 2 on Monday. So Sunday we have Houston at Tennessee, Cincinnati at the Colts, Falcons at the Vikings, Denver at New England, that team from Washington at the Giants, Baltimore at Philadelphia, Cleveland at Pittsburgh. That should be a great game. That's going to be the measuring stick for the Browns.
Yes.
That should be
a competitive one because the Browns are actually good.
Exactly. So we're going to see how really, really good they are. Like, remember what Kerry Davis said a few weeks ago about Cleveland? You recall what he said, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh, he was saying how he don't trust Cleveland.
Oh.
With him being a Pittsburgh Steeler, he don't really trust.
Mm-hmm.
He don't believe the hype. But we're gonna find out this Sunday. Chicago
Cause you
Bears.
were you the one that was thinking OBJ was overrated? Was that you?
Yep,
Okay.
yep,
So yeah, we'll see.
yep. We'll see. He has been playing better. Like, I think we said this last week. Better coaching, and you putting your guys in better put your great players in great
Situation.
positions to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago Bears, they actually are playing very good this season. Nick Foles doing his thing at Carolina, Detroit at Jacksonville, Jets at Dolphins, Green Bay at Tampa Bay. Aaron Rodgers
Mm.
versus Tom
Mm.
Brady. No, no,
Mm.
no, no, no,
You know,
no,
again, Jurassic Park thing.
no.
Hey, but yeah, I bet you they're gonna. I think we'll be entertained with that. I give them that one.
Then we have Sunday night football. Cronky's team at San Fran. Then we have
Come
two
on, San
games.
Fran.
Two games Monday night. KC at Buffalo. That's one of the games in which it was going to be, I believe, tomorrow, but it got pushed all the way back to Monday because of COVID. And then
Mm-hmm.
Arizona at Dallas. So Kyler Murray gonna be Monday Night Football doing this thing. And
You
now
ready
that
for the prime time lights?
we gonna find out. And then of course with the Cowboys, no Dak, so it's gonna be the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, and we gonna
Mm-hmm.
find out. Alice Williams says there is something to be said for experience. So I'm sure she's talking about probably maybe that matchup between Green Bay and Tampa Bay. Let us know, Miss
Yep.
Williams, what you were referring to, so we can definitely go back to that topic right there.
Oh, and what you think about Le'Veon Bell being released by the
He
Jets?
was never happy there.
Why did he go there? That's the only team that wanted to pick him up.
Yep,
Mm.
pretty much, pretty much. And
Who
now,
do you think he'd be a good fit for?
uh, word is that they are stating that he could be going to the Chiefs.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Chief Nation. Oh, shoot. Y'all really about to see some good offense now.
Yep. And speaking of good, as you know what, this is like unofficially, officially like ladies' night tonight, and you're gonna see why. Because right now we're about to bring in our special guest representing Rock M Nation at Mizzou. She told me
Yeah.
that she was a high school swim coach back in her day. So ladies, if y'all watching, y'all trying to learn how to swim, you're gonna find out tonight from our special guest. Look forward to it. She said that she's been anxious. She was like, why you want to get me on the show? We're gonna find out because it's the platform sports talk show. As we have now via Zoom, special guest Miss Karen Steger.
Woo!
Karen, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
It's definitely a pleasure. And when I said that, you know how when a man is trying to, maybe holler at a female, and they be like, "Why you want to go out with me?" Like that's exactly how Karen was when I reached out to her on Twitter back then. Like, I want to have you as a guest. Well, why me?
Why not you, Karen? Come on.
Exactly.
I don't know.
You know what you can bring. You know what you know, Miss Karen. Come on with it, honey. It's ladies' night unofficially, so we're gonna make sure they know the ladies were here.
Awesome.
Yes, yes, yes. So definitely for all those watching, share this stream right now. Let's support our special guests. Let's have a good time. Let's enjoy everything that Miss Steger has to offer on the platform sports talk show. But with that being said, how has your day been so far today?
Real busy. I work at a retail store during the day now that I don't work at Mizzou anymore. Just ran around like a crazy person all day and got home in time to do this. So here I am.
Nice, nice.
Awesome.
As she is currently, once again, a sports editor, blogger for Rock M Nation, holding things down. So you brought up earlier to me on your bio pretty much due to the pandemic that Mizzou went on and cut your position, laid you off. How did it feel, just going through that process that you had to go through?
Um, Shocking. I can't say that I saw it coming. I had been in my particular job for 6 years. Um, 1 week shy of another year. And got invited to a Zoom call that I had no idea what it was about. And then we knew that they were possibly going to lay off some people in my office. I did not expect I would be one of them. Um, so it was upsetting because I love Mizzou. I always wanted to work there. It is my favorite place. Um, but I'm okay now. I immediately texted my boss at my part-time job and was like, "Hey, by the way, I'm getting laid off. Any way you can make me full-time?" She was like, "Oh, let me check." Within like 10 minutes, it was like, "All right, yeah, we can do that." So I switched departments and I'm doing all right.
Right. That's dope. That reminds me when I used to work for the hotel business. I had a offer to be a manager at this particular hotel, and I did that for maybe about a good month or two. But I guess at that time, I can admit now that maybe I wasn't ready for that role. And before I went to that hotel, my previous employer, before leaving, I was a supervisor, and I was there for like 5, 6 years prior to me moving on to a different hotel. And I was brought into a meeting. No, actually, I was off. So now I kind of feel like, uh,
On
uh,
Friday.
yeah, on Friday, got called
Mm.
like, "Hey, it's your last day," and then like, it was wrong, but I laughed, but it was still wrong. But like one of the guys, I kind of heard them in the background. I was talking to somebody else, like, "Yeah, it's my last day. I'm gone." And someone said, "Man, how you get fired on your day off?" so then,
That's
probably about maybe a day later, I contacted my boss at the time for my previous employer, and I was like, "Hey, just gotta let go. Trying to see if I can get back into the swing of things." And I immediately came back, supervisor, everything. So it is pretty good when you're able to be at a position where, and I believe iPod King Carter said this to us a while back, Bunny, how you don't burn bridges.
mm-hmm.
Because then,
That's true.
you're able to go right back over that bridge if need be, and boom, you got something going on.
Karen, what's that logo on your shirt?
My sticker or my shirt is the LeBron More Than a Vote shirt. It actually just came in the mail today.
Nice.
Love it.
It
Super
came
excited
came
about
right
it.
on
I was like,
time.
oh yes, it's here.
It came right
Love
on
it.
time for the show because later on we're gonna definitely have a nice discussion about the social justices or injustices going on right now. So definitely stay tuned for that conversation. Because ladies, I definitely want y'all to take over that conversation because it's gonna be very good later on. But Bunny, do you want to go ahead and ask our special guest the question that we always ask our guests?
So, Karen, when did you first fall in love with sports, honey?
I'd say when I was a little kid, I always grew up as a Cardinals fan, going to games with my family. My dad and I, this ages me, but my dad and I used to go to St. Louis Cardinal football games back in the late 80s.
Mm.
Um, and then I got into swimming. I don't even know how I got into swimming, but my whole family ended up being involved with it. So I just kept doing that. And um, I had moved away. I lived in North Carolina for 8 years, but I lived there at a time where you couldn't really watch Mizzou and stuff like that. It was hard to watch that. Like I could see the Cardinals every once in a while, stuff like that. So an opportunity arose for me to return home. So I was like, all right, I missed my sports, and now I feel like I took it for granted while I was living in North Carolina. Like when I used to be able to see it all the time, and then I came back and I was like, okay, now I'm really into this. I try to pay attention to as much of it as possible.
So you said the St. Louis football Cardinals was, when you start watching, going to the games. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay, big red, big red. So what was your father's reaction when word got around that Bill Biltwell was going to leave St. Louis to head to Arizona?
No idea. I have to ask him. I mean, I was a little kid when
Okay.
when all of that was going on, so I'm not sure.
Uh,
Same here.
hey,
I heard about it.
I
I don't
know he
remember.
wasn't happy when the Rams left.
mm, yeah, I'm pretty sure if you bring that up to him, like you might have to tweet me or something, and or tweet us the show, and be like, yeah, I brought it up, and my dad pissed again now.
And some people, yeah, that are over that, and that's from the late '80s, and then the Rams happened 20 some years later. It's like, wow, St. Louis
Mm.
can't catch a break for football, and people are mad about it still.
So, do you recall just being at those games at Bush Stadium, being amongst that crowd, and seeing how the energy was back then as a little kid?
Yep. I just an old Bush Stadium was. I loved that place, and I just remember being there with my dad, not really, really necessarily knowing what was going on, but just like loving the atmosphere, being around other fans, getting to watch a sport taking place in front of me.
Yeah. And Bunny, I'm not sure if you recall, Karen, you may or may not, but before the Gateway Classic was at the Dome, it used to be at
It
Bush
was at
Stadium.
Bush Stadium.
And I
I
recall you
went to my first game with my father.
Yeah, I recall going to a game. I forgot. I can't recall who played, but I know that game, Barry Switzer, man, he was the Cowboys head coach. I believe his son was the head coach of one of the teams. And also, I recall it was cold as ice that game as well. But just I think that was my only football game that I saw at Bush Stadium. And but
I
yeah,
think the same for me too. I think was that the game where it was Howard versus somebody maybe. I remember it was like in 1994, 95 ish. That sound about right.
yeah, it was around that time frame.
And that's the only time I went to a football game. I went with my father though.
Yeah,
Gateway Classic. Yeah.
fun
Well,
times.
the only time I went to the Dome was when I guess it would have been right after it opened. They played the state championship there because I went to Hazelwood Central and we played in the state championship at the Dome. And
Mm,
that was the only time I'd ever been to the Dome.
Really?
wow.
Yeah.
You didn't do any? Didn't Mizzou have football games there too? Sometimes the
Yep.
border war games,
Yep.
football in Illinois
Yep. They had those
at the
games.
Dome.
Hmm.
They
Don't remember going to those when I was. We used to go to the Border War basketball, the bragging rights games.
right.
But I don't remember going to the Border War football games if they would have been in St. Louis.
And if I'm correct, I think the border war is always Mizzou and KU, but the bragging rights is whether the basketball or
Right.
football
Oh,
is
okay.
That's
I
right.
Illinois.
bought the wrong one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so but in those games we had a discussion. Who was that we talked to about those games? Was that Kerry? Yeah, that was Kerry Davis.
That was Kerry. Yeah, because
Yeah,
he went to
Illinois.
Illinois. Yeah.
Talking about those incredible games at the Dome with Mizzou and Illinois. But yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, the Rams during the later years, Karen didn't give you a reason to want to come to St. Louis to watch the game at the Dome. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry. Look, I'll give it. My uncle had season tickets, and the last year he had the season tickets. He moved out of town, so I got to go all the time with my father, and that was the '99 season, the Super Bowl season.
Wow.
So I'm sorry he had to leave town, but I'm happy we got them tickets because we were there faithfully seeing the greatest show on turf.
Fun,
Man,
fun times. And
yes.
Bunny Miss Williams was talking about the older quarterbacks having success, i.e.,
Okay.
Jurassic Park. Na, 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 na.
Love doing that little thing. Talking about Brady and Breeze and Rivers and Big Ben. Aaron Rodgers almost up there too now.
So, Karen, earlier you heard us talk. Talk about Kalia Cooper Collier as the VP of Community Relations for MLS soccer team in St. Louis. St. Louis SC. What are your thoughts on that?
I really like the name. I love the logo. I have long read that that St. Louis is a big soccer city. So I'm really excited that they finally got a team, and I'm looking forward to getting to watch them play. Because I had wanted to go to a Sporting KC game at some point, and I still haven't gone, even though I've been back here for since 2011, I guess, and
Mm.
haven't made my way to a Sporting KC game. So I'll probably make it to a St. Louis FC game before I make it to a Sporting KC game.
Yeah. And those tickets are already hot. And people have been getting those season tickets already sold out, have
Mhm.
shattered records and everything. So St. Louis is definitely ready for some professional soccer.
And
Uh,
we have to wait another, what, 3 years, right?
right, right. But something that's also, which once again, ladies' night theme going on here. But with them bringing on Kalia Collier, and then the organization being ran by a woman. How does that make Bunny? How does it make you feel? And of course, Karen, how does it make you feel?
Hey, Karen.
I just love to see women getting involved more in sports at the higher end of the spectrum. I think it's about time.
Exactly.
I think that it's great, and I want to see more women coaches, women executives at every every level of sports.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. And it's truthful too. But yeah, you're right. It's about time. Like I was saying a couple of months ago when we were talking about all the protesting that was going on and everything from Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. I'm like, people are all of a sudden acting like black people are relevant and want to do more things for us. And it's like we've been here. It's not like we just fell from the sky. Thank the women. We've been here. We've been making decisions. We can run boardrooms. We can run sports organizations. We're not just a pretty face. We're not just cheerleaders dealing with sports. We know how to make moves, talk business, get contracts done, get players, market, community. Anything guys can do, the women can do. So I'm happy that the organization not just being women ran, but women owned, but they're putting women in places that we don't usually get that opportunity. And it's
Mm-hmm.
always I tell people, like when I was working for my new job, just give me the opportunity. I'll sell myself. You just gotta give me the opportunity.
Right. Yep.
So
I always say the same thing too, as a male, of course. Um, I just say, hey, give me the opportunity to get me through that door. I'll take care of the rest.
exactly.
That's it, right there. So let's talk about Karen, the youngster. What was the very first sport that you played? Was it swimming or was it a different sport?
If I remember correctly, I played soccer on an all boys team.
Uh oh. Uh
Oh,
oh.
breaking barriers back
She
then.
always throwing it off.
There might have been one other girl on the team, but I think that there were two girls and everybody else was boys. But I wasn't really into soccer. I only remember doing that for a couple of years. And then I played softball for like 10 years, and at the same time swam. When I got to high school, I quit softball just to focus on swimming.
Mm. So you said you went to Hazelwood Central High School, correct? What? So you
Yeah.
played softball and swimming. Were there any other sports, or just those two?
Um, Softball was just until I guess eighth grade, and
Okay.
then swimming I did. I think since I was like probably like six up until I graduated from high school, and then I stopped.
So
Oh, did you ever think that you would pursue swimming long enough to go for an Olympic trials or just get a college scholarship or anything like that?
um, I could have swam in college. I think if I would have chosen a different school to go to, I think I would have tried to pursue it more. I just knew I knew so many people at Mizzou. I was kind of ready to go and just be done with it and do something else with my life. I had thought about walking on at Mizzou. I remember going on a visit, and the facilities aren't what they are now. Like now they're unbelievable. But the facilities weren't great. I had looked at how at that time how people that I used to swim against did when they went to school there, and at that point I wasn't seeing that people were doing a whole lot better when they went. So I just decided I didn't want to do it. And when I had my heart set on going to Mizzou, that was the end of my swimming career. If I had my other choice of school that I really wanted to go to that would have been too expensive would have been Indiana University in Bloomington. If I would have gone there, I think I would have kept swimming because I wouldn't have known anybody. Would have been like my way to meet other people. But since I was at Mizzou, that I got coaching shortly after that. And yeah.
So, what made you fall in love with swimming as a little kid?
Um, if I remember correctly, I got sick a lot when I was a little kid, and my asthma doctor had said that that was something that could help make my asthma more manageable would be swimming. So I think that's actually how I ended up getting into it. And then I was pretty good at it, so I kept doing it and basically made it my life for a very long time.
Now I know I've asked a slew of black women in my past. Do you know how to swim? They always saying no. Da, 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 da. What is something that you can say that can encourage more women, especially black women, to want to take up swimming more?
Oh man. um, I just think it's something that's really important for everybody to learn how to do because you never know when you'll be in a situation when you're at a pool or in the ocean or lake or wherever where it may be helpful for you to know how to swim. So I think that's why I would suggest that everybody try to learn to do it.
Hmm. Yeah, I learned when I was a freshman in high school. Um, I think it was like maybe 10 people, 10 or 12 people that was in my class, and it was probably me and maybe three other people who actually got in the water throughout the whole semester. I mean, for really, everybody else was not trying to get into the water at all, and especially 'cause, like I think this was like my very first class, of the day. So of course, you leaving swimming, you gotta take it, wash up, you gotta get ready. So these feet, the ladies were like, I ain't trying to get my hair wet and da 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 and go out the rest of my day and be smelling like this or looking like that. So that could have been the reason, but it just like
That's what swim
sometimes.
caps are for. They keep your hair from
Right,
getting wet.
right,
That is true.
exactly.
But
Hey,
we did swimming at Central for PE class. But I remember I got people on the swim team got to be coaches. So we didn't really have to do it. We got to instruct other people on what to do, but
mm,
it was just something that everybody had to do. And I feel like everybody did actually get in the water and do something, even if it was just goofing off, but they did get in the pool.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it
we
was
still had
just
the
so
option
cool.
in high school. We never pulled our school, so
Yeah.
I thought used to take us to the Y when we were little. That's when we used to get our swim experience and swim lessons. But my niece actually does swimming now for the YMCA. She's 12, so I told her the Olympics in 2016 when Simone, what is her name?
Manual.
Daniel. I said, this is what you wanted to do. You can be like her. You know, to give an image of it, especially because she was the first black on a relay team, and let alone as good as she was. I'm like, this is who you can strive to be. So yeah, it's good that she loves swimming now. I mean, they because of COVID, they're only doing practices. They're not competing. But I didn't realize how big and the swim competitions are a big thing. Similar to how they have track clubs, man. Like I didn't think St. Louis
Mm-hmm.
had a presence for swimming, but they do.
And Alice Williams says that she tried to learn how to swim as a kid. She took lessons at the YWCA, but could never figure out how to coordinate her breathing with her arm strokes, so she could only swim as far as her breath held out.
Mm.
In which, Karen, I was going to ask you that question is, it has to be a rhythmic thing in regards to swimming, breathing, doing the, when you are doing the strokes, everything. Can you just kind of give
Mhm.
us a little example, or of course you can't do nothing like go in a pool right now, but
You do it in the air.
you know what I'm
Just do it in
saying?
the air.
But
Well, the way that we would teach, I used to teach swim lessons too. We would teach is you take like a kickboard and hold it out in front of you, and you just put your face in the water, and then you practice breathing by just turning your head to the side, and that was just kind of how you would get used to it, and you could eventually like add your arm in to the
Mm.
kickboard, and you just kind of. I don't know how I figured out when you were supposed to breathe. I just did it when I ran out of air. I feel like
I can't breathe.
so when I was younger, at least, when I got really into it. But it's, I think I stopped coaching in 2012. I haven't really, besides watching the Olympics and stuff like that, I haven't paid as much attention to swim. I haven't been swimming anything since then. And like my brother was a swim coach. He now has a different profession. My dad was a official. He, needed something to do while we were swimming. He became an official. He doesn't do that anymore now that they moved to Florida. My mom used to run our team when we formed a new team. Like my whole family was really into it. Now we're all just like, all right, now.
So pretty much you would say it was your father and your brother who were your like influences as a kid being a swimmer, or were there more people?
I don't think my dad was real. I don't even think my dad was a swimmer. I feel like I should know this. My brother and I just, I think, just kind of picked it up. I think I got the will to want to coach from him because he started coaching when he was 16. He stopped swimming and then moved into coaching at that point and moved up to coaching college. Um, so I think I got that wanting to coach thing from him. And I think I started doing that when I was started coaching for a team in Florissant during the summer when I was in college, and just kind of picked it up from there. When I moved to North Carolina, they asked me in my teaching interview. I was an elementary teacher. Hey, do you want to coach any sports? I was like,
Mm.
oh, I could, coach swimming. And so then I started being a high school swim coach
You got the
for
job.
quite a while.
You're hired.
You are hired. So we know that in basketball, people will say, Michael Jordan, I follow, or baseball, they'll say Ken Griffey Jr., or, whoever. Swimming wise, in high school, there's someone that you followed a lot that you learned a little bit from just watching, observing.
I always wanted, well, butterfly was my favorite stroke, and I wanted to swim butterfly like Summer Sanders, who
Mm.
was she was in the 92
Haven't
Olympics.
heard her
I
name in a
wanted,
long time.
I wanted to be her. And I wasn't a
Wow.
sprinter, but I loved Amy Van Dyken. She just was an incredible sprinter. I always admired Janet Evans, but had no desire to swim long distance events like Janet Evans.
Okay.
And we know that, like with track and field, I would say track and field is very similar, very to swimming, and conditioning is so important, and
Mm-hmm.
being able to know how to, go lengths without stopping, of course, when you're doing, when you're doing
And you
swim
gotta learn how
meets,
to breathe correctly
right?
too while running.
So, so how were you able to master that technique of being able to have great conditioning skills while being a swimmer? And also, you got to be strong with it too. You know, going back and forth for 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of cross training on the sides. When I was in high school, we had like gym equipment in my basement, and I would bring people on the team over to my house, and we'd call it the Steger home gym. And so we would go and work out in the basement and lift weights and stuff like that. And in the basement, just kind of to help out with that, because I don't remember doing a lot of weightlifting or any dryland training like that when I was in high school. But when I coached high school swimming, we made lifting weights, running, other conditioning stuff to build up your endurance, an important part of our program, especially in the preseason, just to get people back in shape in case they hadn't been doing anything for several months.
Mm. So, as a high schooler, what was the highest pinnacle that you reached? Did you get to state? Did y'all win a state championship? And then same thing as a swim coach.
Coach, I was more successful than with my own swimming career. I qualified for state in a number of events. I think the highest I finished, I think there were 2 years I placed in the top 10 in different events. But as a coach, I was lucky enough to work for a team in North Carolina that had a lot of very talented athletes that ended up swimming at the D1 level. Um, and we boys won a state title in 2009. We placed third another year. We were like in the top 5 for like 4 or 5 years in a row. And then we moved up to the next level. We had been in 3A and they moved us up to 4A. We placed in the top 5 and 4A, but yeah, we did win. We did win a title in 3A, and I think it was 2009. The girls always placed in the top 10. I think we finished as high as 5th or 6th, I believe. North Carolina was weird because the boys and girls swam at the same time, whereas in Missouri they're separate seasons.
Mm.
And then when I moved back here and took over at Hickman and Rockbridge, the girls won the state title my first year.
Okay. That's good. Your
Yeah,
first
it was.
wow.
Wish I could say it was all me, but I was blessed to have
I don't,
some very talented
hey,
athletes
I don't
on
know. I
my
don't know,
team.
Bunny. We have to call her Steve Kerr.
Inherited a good team and get all the credit. Okay.
Yeah, I was very lucky to have the wonderful kids on my team I did who are now full blown adults. So weird. It seems like it was so long ago that I did it, but it was a good part of my life.
So, what was the first school that you coached?
The first school I coached at,
Right.
in North Carolina, a school in Mooresville, which is a suburb outside of Charlotte area. It's like where all the NASCAR teams are. People call it Race City, USA. I don't know if that's your thing. But I coached at a school called Lake Norman High School, and
Mm.
I was an assistant my first 2 years, and then I was the head coach for 6 years.
Nice. And then you said that you moved over or went back to Missouri, and you went to.
Yep.
And what school did you go to and coach in Missouri?
So Missouri's kind of weird with their coaching in that for swimming, all the schools practice together. So I was the head coach of Hickman and Rockbridge, and they
Wow.
practiced together.
Really?
Technically, we're on separate teams, but we tried to unite people as like Team Como. And then the year after I left, Battle High School opened, and now the head coach is in charge of Hickman, Rockbridge, and Battle, and all swim together.
Did you like that when y'all had to all practice together, even though y'all are competitors, that y'all practice together? Did you like that?
um, yeah, I liked it because there really was no difference between the two schools. Like we basically were one big team. The only time it really was like Hickman versus Rockbridge was like when you got to state or something like that. Um, but it really wasn't. I didn't really see. There really wasn't like a rivalry between the two of them because it's always been that way. Um, they always practiced together because all we had to swim at was Hickman's pool, and so that was just the way it had to be. So that's the way it always has been.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
so you brought up that you won first year doing the whole Steve Kerr thing, winning the title. What would you say was the highlight, if you could think of a certain memory, as a swimmer in high school?
Um, we had a relay team. Oh my gosh, this was so long ago. We had a relay team that placed pretty high, I believe, one of my years at state. Um, I think my sophomore year, we had a relay team that placed in like the top six, I think. I would say that was probably the highlight of my high school career. Um, in my coaching career, the year that we won a state title, we were undefeated the entire year.
Wow,
Never
All
lost
right, all right, all
a
right.
nice.
single well, in Missouri swimming is different also from North Carolina in that you swim in North Carolina, you swim in a regional meet first, and then you have to place in a certain order in order to make it to state from there. So we won all of our conference meets that year. We went to regionals, we won regionals, we went to state, and we won state. So it was something my assistant coach at the time figured out exactly how many teams we beat that year. And it was something like if you counted however many we swam against at regionals and state, it was like 128 teams or something like
Mm,
if you just went by the records of we would have meets, we wouldn't have you'd have meets and you'd swim against like 3 or 4 teams. So if you just went by those swim meets, I think in not beating everybody at regionals and state, I think we were 56-0
Mm,
that year.
that's amazing. Now,
It
okay.
was it was
Well,
awesome. I I loved that school and I loved those kids so much.
mm,
oh, good. Do you still keep in contact with anybody from
I
that
do
year?
actually.
Oh, okay.
One a couple. I had a couple come through Columbia. One was moving to Colorado for grad school, and she stopped in Columbia, and we met up and had a beer. It was so
wow, that's pretty
Well, that's
awesome.
good. She kept look. She felt comfortable with her coach. Like, hey, let's grab a beer before I hit the road for real. You know.
yeah.
And,
I had another one come through a couple years before that. He was here for his job, and we're like, hey, let's get together. But yeah, I still talk to a lot of them. The ones here, not as much. I've still talked to some of the parents from the Columbia teams I coached, but not as many of the swimmers. It's just I spent 4 years with those kids in North Carolina and got to know their families and still talk to a lot of their families, and they were awesome.
oh, good.
and how gratifying was it for you to be able to see the fruits of your labor in regards to you training up these kids and they're winning the state championship, they're getting D1 offers and getting offers, period.
Hmm.
How did that make you feel personally?
um, just happy to be along for the ride with them because a lot of it wasn't just me. I mean, they swam for club teams too, and I just came along and happened to be the the one who put their lineups together and would talk to them when they would come to practice and try to get to know them. So I'd like to think I was an encouraging force. But as for um, how they became the D1 athletes that they became, I don't know how much I was directly involved in that. I would give more credit to their club coaches. But I'd like to think I helped out along the way.
I sprinkle in a little bit of seasoning so they can, they can be right. You know what I'm saying? So now you said that you, because it was so different during that time that you was coaching basically two squads. So did that mean that you were getting double pay as well?
Um, in North Carolina, they were together. Um, I got paid next to nothing.
Oh wow.
Despite our success, we got paid as was like a bonus stipend. So then it was taxed like an unbelievable amount. I basically coached for free for 8 years in North Carolina. Um, I knew people that worked as football coaches at Lake Norman as assistants who made more money than I did as a head coach.
Oh, wow.
But there wasn't really anything that I could do. They just didn't have money in the budget to pay non-revenue sports, I guess. When I moved to Columbia, I was compensated well and got paid for both seasons. So when the boys swam, I got paid for those 3 months or however long it was. When the girls swam, I got paid for those 3 months, and the pay was much better.
So how was it being in? Now I know you said that you coach boys and girls, but coaching boys, how was it a difficult task for you? Did they receive you, as just a coach? And with you being a woman, how was that period for you coaching for
I
boys?
actually found it was easier to coach the boys than the
Really?
girls.
Why
Being
is that?
honest. So like in North Carolina, they swam together. So the boys would kind of not be as weird. Like some swimmers are just weird. They would be not as weird to try to impress the girls, and the girls would try to be on their best behavior to impress the guys. In North Carolina, with them being separate, the boys were free to be as weird and silly as they wanted, and I just appreciated it. And the girls, it was just different. It was harder. It was harder. You had to cater to people a lot more. The boys, I don't even know how to describe it. It just was easier. They were more relaxed. They would just be themselves, and I don't know. I don't know.
You
I've
know
always
what?
gotten along really well with guys, though, so I guess that made it easier.
And now I think about it, especially bringing up swimming. Y'all recall that movie with Denzel? It was like Out of Time or something like that when he was being security, but also he was the daughter's head swimming coach or whatever. You recall that movie?
Mm.
I know
That's not Out of Time.
part of
That's
the
not
movie.
it.
I've never seen it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I can,
swimming coach though?
I'm about to go
I don't know.
on
You're not
Google
doing
and
that.
find out what it's called real quick. For those watching, let me know what it's called. I'm gonna look it up real quick and see. But yeah, he was like kind of like a assassin. He'd be called to uh, pretty much protect people and whatever. And if people came incorrect, he would assassinate them. But he kind of had a heart for the family's daughter, and they had a good relationship. And she was a little swimmer, and he actually pretty much got
Oh,
her.
I remember that movie. It's
Yeah,
not Out of Time. I know you're talking
yeah.
about. Was it Fire?
Oh
No.
yeah, yeah. Oh God, it's coming back to me. It's coming back to me. Hold on. Here we go. Let's see. This the fun of be on a live show and go on Google. It was Man on Fire.
Man on Fire, yeah.
Oh,
Something
I've
on
never
fire,
seen
yeah.
that. It's been a while.
Yeah, he talking about 2004.
Mm-hmm.
The only movie I can remember being about swimming was this terrible movie called Swim Fan. And it was about like a psychotic
Oh
swim
yeah,
I heard about that. Yeah.
yeah. She was
awful movie.
yeah.
I didn't know
I thought it
anybody.
was at Nev Campbell or somebody else was in there, but I remember that. Yeah, but it didn't do a lot with the swimming portions. More her stalking, her swim coach and stuff.
Yeah,
Mm.
it was. Yeah, it's like, ugh, you're gonna make a movie with swimming in it, and that's what you're gonna do.
Right. I mean, truthfully, has there been any like actually decent movies that she was was on? Neve Campbell.
Say that again.
Were there any decent movies that she was really in?
Who, Nev Campbell?
Yeah.
Scream.
Party of Five. That's a show, wasn't a movie.
I
Now
love
showing my
Scream.
age because I forgot I even knew about the show Party of Five.
Okay, so we got to the swimming part of your career. What led you into becoming a blogger and editor?
I so I became a teacher when I was in high school. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to I wanted to go into journalism. I wanted to be a reporter. Wanted to work for a magazine. Actually, was what I really wanted to do. And then ended up switching to education. When I came back here, I read Rockham all the time. Sometimes commented. Just really was like, I feel like I know a decent amount about sports. I could see myself doing something with this, but I've always second guessed myself in that way because I'm not like I told you, I was like, if you want to talk about the analytical stuff, there are many other people who work for Rockham Nation that would be very, very good at that part. I do more of editorializing stuff. But I think I had noticed, being a former teacher, I had noticed reading stuff that I was seeing a lot of typos and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to reach out to them and see if they want an editor. So I ended up becoming a volunteer editor by Twitter DM. I
Wow.
reached out to their Twitter
Okay.
and was like, hey, I'm just wondering if you want some help with editing. You don't have to, I read it anyway, I'll just do it for free. And our site manager, Sam Snelling, talked to me. He was like, really? Called me up. I don't think he thought it was going to last. Like, he thought I'd get tired of it. Because why would I volunteer my time to read this stuff and correct it? And then I started doing it last August, I believe. By September, I remember my parents had come into town from Florida to visit me, and Sam had texted me. He was like, are you free to talk? And I was like, oh God, am I in trouble? Am I not going to work for this site even for free anymore? Like, what's going to happen? And so called him back, and he was like, we want to pay you to do this. So
Nice.
yeah, so I get paid to do my job now.
I was about to say, you went from doing a hobby per se to something you like to do and getting paid to do it. So that's not a job anymore. That's just something you do for fun.
So with being a paid person, so now I read everyone's stuff and edit it, and then also I write aggregated links post twice a week, and then anything else I really want to write about, basically let me. And now I guess I'm like third or fourth in charge for
Okay.
Like, Sam's on vacation this week, and I was one of the people that he contacted to be like, hey, you three, run things while I'm gone.
That's good. They had faith and confidence in you that early. We're gonna ask you, were there any other women in that similar role to what you were doing?
I am the only woman that works for Rockham.
Wow.
What?
Hold it down. And
You
then
just breaking barriers left and right, girl. Look at you.
exactly.
Oh, Karen. That's
And
what I
then
like to hear.
it kind of goes
Yeah,
back to
it's
what we
kind of
said
cool when I
before.
think about it. I didn't think it was going to happen, and then it's weird that now I'm like, oh, I'm a sports blogger.
But this is the perfect example of what I said earlier about just getting your foot in the door. And you did that.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, can I be an editor? And now they like, hey, can we pay you?
Right.
Yes, you
In that
can.
order.
And that
Well, and
order.
after I got laid off from Mizzou, I actually got a raise. Rockham, and I was like, all right, I'll take it.
So for those who are
I was
not
like, I got a
familiar,
job where someone appreciates me.
so for those who are not familiar, can you explain what Rock M Nation is?
So it's under the umbrella of SB Nation, which basically has sites for, I think, pretty much all D1 teams have an SB Nation site run by random fans. And then all professional sports also have one as well. I think the Cardinals SB Nation site is Viva Alberto's.
Yeah, I recall that.
Um, the Blues one, can't remember what the Blues one is. But yeah, basically every team has one. The Broncos are the Denver Stiffs. I follow the Broncos, so I pay attention. I look for information about Drew Lock for my link stuff, so I try to check other SB Nation sites for that. But
Okay.
so, and then we fall under the umbrella of Fox Media, I believe. So yeah, just a fan site, and it's great because you can report news, but then you don't have to be as impartial. If I want to talk about how, you know, Brian ode to Xavier Pinson like I did last year, or if one of our other writers, Brandon Kiley, last year wrote a love letter to Derek Dooley for the site, that did not go well.
Brandon Cowley.
We can write about stuff like that, and it's, you may get criticized for your beliefs, but you can basically say whatever you want, and it's nice. It's kind of my style of writing more so than how a typical journalist would do things.
And I was just about to bring that up. That has to be probably the biggest difference between being a sports editor slash blogger and being a journalist. Like we've had in the past, from Post Dispatch, Tip of the Tongue.
Benjamin Hoffman was on.
Yes, Benjamin Hoffman.
Yeah, he
You know,
was.
so what would you say outside of what you just said in regards to you personally more so having your own opinion and not having to be limited? Is that the
Hmm.
biggest comparison from what you do to other journalists?
Well, I don't really consider myself a journalist. That's why I say I'm a blogger, because I'm not, I may, I don't, I don't know. I give mad props to the journalists at the Post Dispatch. I read all of their stuff. I
Hmm.
love to hear everything that they have to say, and a lot of times I'll look at what they say and then write my own thing that kind of references what they're saying with my own thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I like working for Rockham because I can openly be a fan.
Mm.
Whereas like Dave Matter isn't a Mizzou fan. He has to remain impartial.
Mm.
Mm.
Got you.
Okay.
Got
I
you.
like not having to remain impartial.
It's
There's more
something.
freedom
I
when
about
you're
to say the
blogging
same
versus
thing.
being a journalist.
I about to say the same thing. It's that freedom. That
Mm-hmm.
you ain't got to worry about this after you hit send. You just Here you go. Take it.
Right. Take it how you want it,
Take
right?
it.
But
So
I still am like, I constantly question myself as to like, well, how is this going to be received if I say this?
with you being a blogger, um, creativity is very important. So was there any certain classes that you took in high school and college that kind of brought you along the way? Like I'm a DJ also, and I've done plenty of spoken word,
Mm-hmm.
events in my days. Was that something that you took back then? Some kind of poetry or any certain type of class that you took that led you into becoming a blogger?
um, I always was interested in writing, even as a little kid. I used to write little stories and stuff like that for in elementary school. So it's just always been something I was interested in. And then in high school, I did yearbook. So I always have, I had to write the speeches for our banquets and stuff as coaching. And then being an elementary school teacher, you have to teach them how to write a story and things like
Mm-hmm.
that, different types of stories. So I've always kind of had that in me to do it. So I think mine was just practice and then like reading other people's writing and trying to think, oh, I like the style that person uses. Like Benjamin Hockman's a good example because he is an excellent reporter, but then he also works his personality into his writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to do that too. So like regular readers of the Links Post for Rockham, some of them had told me that even if they don't read that I like my name on it, they know I wrote
Mm.
because
There's a
I just
step behind it from how your writing
is
style is.
different. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: when you were doing blogs for Mizzou, what was, let's say, give me your top three of the things you wrote a blog about? Because since you do sports, there's so many sports Mizzou offers. What were like your top three?
Um, I went to the march that the football team and other Black athletes organized. It was like a month ago now. And I wrote a story about that. Super proud of that one.
Okay.
I have one that actually comes out tomorrow morning about mental health and performance in college athletics and
That's a good one.
how it relates to persons of color who in college who may not um, reach out for help as much if they need it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that one coming tomorrow. And then I wrote one last year about free throw psychology. I get really into this psychology, mental performance type stuff. If I had stayed employed at Mizzou, I intended to go back to school at a hefty discount and get my master's in positive coaching. That's what I really wanted to do, but
Oh.
did not do that. So yeah, last year I wrote something about free throw psychology and how just kind of how getting your mind right and how that impacts shooting free throws, basically.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And before we continue on, once again, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. There are people that have been leaving comments under my personal page, and as I always say, Bunny, if you're leaving comments under my personal page, we will not see it on the show. And I see that
But
people,
like this to those comments on your page.
right. So I just left a comment, but I just want to say for those watching right now, especially on Facebook only, if you have comments, you want to say hi, leave stories, etc. so we can all see it and interact with you, which we love to do. You
Oh,
must go to
yes.
the platform Sports Talk Show right on your screen and then leave those same comments so we can go ahead and have Miss Karen Steger to see them, to react to them,
Mm-hmm.
and let's talk about it. so bring,
Okay,
so
let's talk
bring it.
about it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
once again, I appreciate all those who have been leaving comments under the watch party, but please make sure that you go to our Facebook page, the Platform Sports Talk Show, and bring those same comments so we can go ahead and interact with each and every one of you guys. All right, so going back to our special guest via Zoom as we have Miss Karen Steger on. We discussed Rock Nation, Rock M Nation. What are your thoughts right now in the state, with the state, excuse me, of Missouri Athletics as we speak?
Well, I'm just hoping that the football team gets to play another game
Right.
after last week's. I mean, I don't, the Vandy game got canceled or postponed
Postponed.
till December. Florida just released that they had a huge amount of people test
COVID
positive
outbreak.
when they have to do their contact tracing. Who knows if we'll have that game next week.
Right.
Sucks that, we had this amazing win
And can't
and
build off
can't
of it.
capitalize on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Ben Frederickson wrote something in the Post-Dispatch yesterday about how Drinkwitz was saying that it's good in a way because we have so many players that are injured that this now gives them time to heal up, perhaps, or those that were out for contact tracing, they should be back. So that part is good, but I hate that it kind of lost the momentum and, we had national media talking about us and now it's like we don't have a game for at least a week, maybe 2 weeks.
Right.
Which is kind of sucks.
So as you were talking, the comments are starting to come in now. Everybody's getting it. So we have
All right, I got the memo.
Yeah, we have a comment from Chris Davis Jolly. Says it's great to hear Karen talking about sports. It's her passion for sure. I taught her in North Carolina. She loves swimming and can motivate her swimmers to work so hard. Oh, that's so nice. How's that feel hearing that, Karen?
Thank you very much, Chris. We work together in North Carolina.
Okay.
She's always been, to this day, very supportive of everything that I do. So
Good.
Nice,
that's very
nice.
nice.
Yes. And Chris, please feel free to share this stream with everyone, whether you on Facebook, Twitter,
There's some
YouTube.
more.
Let's share. Let's get them shares going. Let's get these great comments. Any questions that anyone wants to ask, any cool stories you want to share, let's do it right now. Let's get it in for our special guests. So, you brought up Mizzou not being able to play and the Florida situation, which is crazy because just last week, the head coach from Florida was trying to advocate to have 100% capacity at the future
Thank goodness
games.
you don't listen to the head coaches like that, the CDC directors.
And then,
That was, Dan Wolkin of USA Today wrote something about that today that I read on my lunch break. That was just like, how is anyone going to have a good example to follow there when your coach is like, yes, we need to pack the stadium so we can beat LSU.
And so that we can put COVID to everybody in the stands. That's what he meant to say. Sheesh.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me. I'm glad Mizzou is doing it right. Drinkwitz is awesome.
And he's very outspoken coach too, because at the beginning of this, when he was like, with the SEC wasn't transparent with the schedule, when they had to redo and all that, he's been very vocal to be the rookie of the SEC coaches, or at least one of them. He didn't hold his tongue back,
Yeah.
I
I really like to see his transparency on everything. It's nice to, like when we played Alabama, like they didn't even bother to, Nick Saban didn't bother to say if any of he said which players were out with injury, but didn't elaborate on if anybody was out with COVID or anything, and then Drinkwitz is, giving all this information, and not everybody is sharing it. And I know that they said something about it. It gives the other team a competitive advantage, but just share it. Like,
I mean,
I don't get
we're talking about lives here, literally. They ain't just competition.
right. Yeah, I love what our coaching staff is doing, not so much what some of the others are doing.
And
Well, okay, thank you for saying that. I have a question slash comment. I did read something today regarding a poll that was put out to NCAA coaches, administrators, ADs on the Division One level, and I don't have the exact numbers in my head, but majority of the people polled would like to see two things with the NCAA. One, that the football Division One is another entity with NCAA. So you have the NCAA Division One, Two, and Three. I'm sorry, NCAA Division One. You have like one. They have and they want football to be its own entity. And the second thing that they poll, a majority of people are wondering or want to see is the revenue sharing be more, because with this COVID has exposed a lack of money for enough universities, even on Division One level. Only a certain few have it. And of course, we know football is the number one revenue generator for NCAA sports. And then the fact that only the certain ones, which is the Power Five conferences. So what are your thoughts as far with this COVID and the NCAA specifically? We talk about the SEC. How do you think they should be, or what are your thoughts on the money football generates? And as for, do you think there should be a separate division for football, separate from the other NCAA Division One divisions?
I don't know if I like it, the idea for it to be separate, because then that makes it even more seem like it's more important than the other sports. I know the reason why a lot of this conferences wanted to come back is because if they didn't get the revenue from football, then they would have to possibly cut other sports, and a lot of programs had to cut other sports because of the loss of football. But I feel like there's got to be some way to make it work so that all the teams can keep functioning, whether or not, I don't know.
Like I said, it was a detailed survey, but from the comments and stuff, and I was like, wow. And don't forget, some Division One schools don't have football, and that's the ones who were complaining about revenue.
But there's some schools that are managing just fine without having football. So I'd be interested to see what those schools are doing, or D2 schools, how they're managing to operate and still have all of their teams without getting all of this revenue. Like I didn't see the article. There's got to be a way to make it work, because I would hate for Mizzou to, since that's my main team I cheer for, I would hate for them to have to, get rid of track, get rid of swimming, like get rid of wrestling, which is like the best sport that we have, because they don't make enough money for the school. Like they're all of the sports are important, whether or not. That's what I try to do that more with Rockin' too, is focus more. I try to focus a lot on the other sports. They did these Zoom calls with other sports over the summer, and I tried to go to all of them and then write a post about it, just so that in case there was a college swimming fan out there, or a track fan, or softball, or baseball, or whatever, that maybe it would pique the interest or get more people to try to learn about it and care about other Mizzou sports teams besides basketball and football.
Mm. Now, so going back to Coach Eli Drinkwitz, everyone knew after Barry Odom left that a lot of people were maybe targeting the more known coaches. And then Eli came up, in which I see a comment here from Chris Davis Jolly that he's still upset that he left ASU at Appalachian State
Oh yeah, she's an
before.
App fan.
And I'm sorry, she. Uh, what?
Yeah, she's an App State fan.
Yeah, so she says she's still upset about that, but says he's a great coach and glad that he's doing well at Mizzou. So, what was the overall vibe at Mizzou during that time when he was hired? And just take us over the few months of him being the head coach and how he's pretty much, as Bundy said earlier, being transparent. To me, seemed like he's been a breath of fresh air for that program.
Um, so he was one of our main football writers at Rockham, Nate Edwards. Had some exhaustive posts on coaching candidates that was just a ridiculous amount of work um, on who he really wanted to be the coach. So I think at first, I think people were very cautious about it since he had it. He'd only been a head coach at App for a year, yeah.
Right. Yep.
That they would bring in someone who had so little experience. But I think I know all of us at Rockham are very happy with him. And SB Nation does some surveys that they send out to fans. And even after losing to Alabama and Tennessee, the fan confidence level was still up, like in the upper 80s. So, whereas if this had happened with Barry Odom, I do not think that would have fan confidence was way down. So I'm glad to see that people are giving him more of a chance, and it really does. I see far more positive things about him than negative things, which is very nice to see. And I know that our writers that have gotten to interact with him and go to his Zoom conference calls and stuff like that have all really enjoyed getting to know him, and just he has a great personality, and they just love how he's so energetic, and he just seems great. He seems great.
Yeah, and I just love his energy and how big he is in regards to recruiting. Like for instance, the game right after they defeated LSU, I think he was saying that I think the word was that he started calling recruits like, "Hey, you see what can happen when you go to Mizzou and we're beating the reigning defending national champions, at our home, even though of course it got moved from LSU to Mizzou, but hey, you still got to play the game." But I just
Take the W, though. Take the W.
yeah, but I just love how he's really big on trying to make Mizzou that go-to place again. Something that we all know, whether it's been football or whether it's been basketball, it's been hard to really make Mizzou be that kind of destination spot, especially trying to recruit locally here in St. Louis. So what are your thoughts on that and what he's doing?
I think he's doing a great job, especially considering that athletes can't even get on campus and take official visits. Like, we're getting all of these people committing who are basically just doing virtual visits and talking to the coaches during Zoom calls and stuff like that. So the fact that he's been able to get all these people to commit is just, it's great. I'd love to see it.
I like his personality. That's why I'm saying he was demanding the SEC to be more transparent. He didn't mind calling them out, and he's a rookie coach in this league. He didn't care. He just wants it to somewhat be fair at least. The competition wise, the schedule, everything kept getting changed, and then like I said, not revealing COVID players, like it's really going on. Like he doesn't hold back his tongue, but he has a passion you can tell. Like he's trying to change things and make it be definitely a new era of Mizzou football regarding recruiting St. Louis and just in the state of Missouri,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah, there was, I don't know if either of you saw the video of, I probably watched it 10, 15 times after the game of him in the locker room with the players.
Mm-hmm.
And just like how excited he was. Oh my God. I was just like, watch on repeat.
Yeah. and like I said earlier, that's what the program needs. We know Barry. I'm about to call him Barry Gordon. Barry Odom. We know Barry Odom. He just really wasn't that big. He didn't show a lot of transparency, a lot of excitement. Maybe at times behind the scenes, but he just more even kill kind of guy. But it was evident just off of the play of Mizzou and overall that a change was needed. I know he's doing his thing now as a defensive coordinator in Arkansas, so best of luck to him.
And they're doing pretty well.
Yeah. I feel that's more of his element is staying, not being just an overall head coach.
Coach, just to keen in on one part of the football team, defense.
And I asked this question to Steve Savard. Maybe we had him on a few weeks ago too. Like, was Mike Martz the head coach? Not really head coach, but should he have stayed as a offensive coordinator than being a head coach, or how Steve Spagnuolo, how he was a defensive coordinator with the Giants, then he went to a head coach as for the Rams, and you saw how that went. I just feel like maybe Barry Odom lies within that same rank of he was just better as a defensive coordinator than trying to run a whole team.
Yeah, he seems to be an excellent defensive coach.
Yeah.
And you could tell with Mizzou's offensive numbers, we didn't have it. Just this LSU game alone, I was like, whoa. I'm like, we actually scoring on drives. Like, we had a lot of stagnant drives, or just the offense would go 2 quarters, maybe even 3 sometimes. Wouldn't even put up a field goal, let alone touchdown. And now you're just like, wow, they're scoring at least twice in a quarter. Like, whoa.
And and that's the cool thing about having you on this week, Karen. I think like the perfect timing. Right after having this victory. So things are. Really...
I was like, thank God we won that game.
Right. Because if not, we were like, oh, that team. Oh my, no. But
But I was at work while the game was on and was just listening like with one earbud in, and trying not to, be too loud or anything like that. Like they knew what I was doing and didn't really care that much. I was still interacting with people when I needed to, but I was clearly listening to the game. But that I still honestly thought at that goal line stand at the end, I was like, it's over. Like they're gonna score. I just don't see how we're gonna stop them. And then I just couldn't believe it.
Right.
I yelled, just like, yes! Started clapping. I was like, sorry, Mizzou won.
The defense could have been AWOL for all 3 quarters, but that 4th quarter, specifically that last drive, they showed up.
Yeah, so I watched the game when I got home, but I had listened, and it was really cool to listen to it too, because I was listening to Mike Kelly and Howard Richards, who are fantastic announcers, and they were getting so excited about it, and it was a cool way to listen to it. When I was on my lunch break, I tried to watch the ESPN broadcast and ended up just watching it on mute on my iPad and then just listening to Mike Kelly and Howard Richards.
Yeah.
Because I just liked what they had to say so much more. But it also was weird because the broadcast on my iPad was behind what was on what I was listening to. So I was like, wait, what am I watching? This is very hard to decipher what's going on. But I did watch it when I got home. So I was like, oh, I can't miss this. I need more than just the highlights.
And it seems to me, based off of that flea flicker that they did against LSU, that Eli Drinkwitz is a risk taker, and they needed that.
I wasn't even mad. I know people are mad about that, the the fake punt. Like I know my dad was annoyed by the fake punt. Some of the other Rocket people were annoyed by it, and I was like, I know the ESPN announcers were annoyed by it because I heard that part, but I didn't mind it because at that point you have to think like we're facing the defending national championship
Right.
team. Like, yeah, throw everything out there
I was
and
about to say,
see
bring all the tricks out at this point.
what'll
Shoot.
work. And he threw out a lot of tricks, and that one didn't work. But
We got
I thought it was cool that he tried it.
exactly. Now I think he'll try it again further down the road. It's not a one and done thing. Like you said, the
Yeah.
SEC, which division is Mizzou in?
SEC East.
East. So the West we know is stacked. Okay, we
Mhm.
know most of those are top 25 schools, at least top 10. So you definitely got to bring it in. And of course, you can't use the same thing because everybody looks at game film before they play
Right.
you. So you got to switch it up. But I mean, those are some really good teams. So you got to bring everything you can. And thank God it worked for them, you know. And this is just the
Well,
beginning, I think.
and the fact that they did so well with random receivers that people don't even
Right.
necessarily know. Like, I'm listening to this broadcast and they keep saying Boo Smith, and I'm like, who the hell is Boo Smith? I have no idea. Is that person on our team? I have no
Yeah,
idea.
he's wearing the black and
Dante
gold.
Smith,
Yeah.
who apparently goes by Boo. And I was like, oh, I vaguely remember hearing about someone named Deontay Smith reading our previews. And I was like, oh, yep, no idea who this person is.
Mhm. It's okay. You get a pass. There's a few people because of the injuries or the COVID restrictions. So yeah, they definitely were kind of shorthanded in certain spots, but it worked. That's all. Hey, it
Mhm.
worked. They did what they had to do. We got the W.
And we have a comment from Chris again. She says Mizzou beating LSU was like ASU beating Michigan, and Karen has never quietly watched the game ever, and she had ever in all caps.
uh, but
Probably
you're on
not.
blast for that one.
Probably not. I was trying to be, I was trying not to get in trouble.
You know what? If there was actually a real amount of fans in the stands, that goalpost would have come down, guaranteed.
We don't want to pay that fine. Keep those goalposts up.
They'll pay it. When you have a big victory, they would have paid it. It's been so long since we had a good victory, they would have paid it. Nothing to a booster been like, here, check my jacket pocket. Here you go. Here's the fine.
Speaking of which, how is it with not having well, okay, what 11,000 people when the stadium normally holds like what 60, 70,000? How is it from your perspective seeing not a huge crowd at a Mizzou game?
So I actually went to the Alabama game. I have a friend that is a season ticket holder but doesn't live in the state, and didn't come back for this game, so he gave me the tickets. Um, so I actually went to that game, and it was weird. It
Mm,
was bizarre. It sucked because we would have gotten so much revenue out of playing Alabama at home. We
right.
could have really used that. It just it was different. It They set up the stands as best as they could with social distancing. Like they had they put seat backs where people's seats actually are, so you know that's where you're supposed to sit, which was nice because I've never had a seat back chair before,
Okay.
and actually got to sit in one. A whole lot nicer than sitting on bleachers. So they have your group together, and then they have 6 feet in between, so the next person is over quite a bit. But then you may have somebody right in front of you, which definitely is like a foot apart. So I don't think they
Right.
figured out that part yet. It was weird with the cheerleaders are over in the south end zone, and then up on the concourse. That was strange to have them so detached from the game. The band never came down. They just stayed over where they normally sit in between. They did the helmet car race on the video board with no one on the field,
Oh
which
wow.
was really bizarre because my friend and I were like, well, that doesn't involve that many people coming at the same time. It was, like you're looking at an empty field, but watching the helmet race on the video board. It just, it's different. And it felt weird being there. Like I was like, I don't know if I should be here. I don't know if this is safe, but they, I think they did as well as they could to try to keep it safe while allowing fans in at the same time.
Gotcha. I just think it's weird when I do see the bands in the stand. You can't social distance, and then those instruments, all that spit and saliva is coming out of there. That helps spread the corona like regular coughing does. I'm like, if they're not the people who are coming to see, why have the students there in the band? That's definitely not social distancing. All that spit going everywhere is not healthy either. I promise.
We have a comment from Perry Justice. It says, I talked with Karen in North Carolina. It's great to hear her talking sports.
He is a Kentucky basketball fan.
Oh, boo. But thanks for tuning in. Boo boo.
No, I'm okay with Kentucky. Thomas is not an LSU fan. Not okay with them.
So speaking of,
I'm all right with it. I respect Coach Cal.
So speaking of basketball, we are into the fourth year for Cuonzo Martin. We had him on our show. We had him on our show a few months ago. What are your thoughts on the job
That's
that
how
he's
I learned
doing?
about your show.
Huh?
Really?
Nice. So, what are your thoughts on his time at Mizzou? When I spoke with him on the show, I did acknowledge that he has been bitten by bad luck, having when the the Porter brothers hurt, certain guys not really reaching their potential over the time in Mizzou, just getting the bad breaks. But looks like overall, to me, he still gets that respect for having a team that played hard nosed. Just can't get over the hump because of injuries and other issues. So, what your thoughts have been so far with Cuonzo?
I don't think it's possible for me to love him more than I do. My parents and I always talk about how, I don't know, we're very lucky to have him. He just seems like a wonderful human being and such a great role model for our student athletes. And I think he's a really good coach too. But yeah, he's been hit with all of this injury stuff, and I just really want to see what he can do with a healthy group. So cross your fingers that this year they stay healthy.
Yes.
They're supposed to be having a regular season, but it's starting later, right? For basketball?
Yeah, November 25th or 6th.
So right around Thanksgiving time and get
it. Starts, yeah, they're playing in a tournament in Orlando.
I believe this is the same tournament that SLU is in. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think the thing I read yesterday from Jeff Goodman at Watch Stadium had them in a different pod, so I don't know if they'll play each other. But yeah, SLU is part of that too. Well, they were supposed to play as part of this. We're supposed to originally play like a Myrtle Beach Invitational or something like that. But then like most of the schools dropped out, so they're still going to Orlando, but now they're going to be part of this other tournament. I think this one's going to be sponsored by ESPN, but there's a lot of good teams that look like that are going to be involved. So
I was going to ask you that. How many teams? How many teams, and is it going to be the bubble, like how the NBA did it down there? They're doing something like that?
I guess it will kind of be bubble-ish for that. It's like runs from the 26th to the 2nd, I think it said. So
okay.
They'll all be in there in that area. So a mini tournament bubble,
maybe. Okay.
Yeah, I believe, if I'm correct, that's going to be in the same facility as the NBA games were at in Orlando.
Oh.
Okay. Wide World of Sports down there. Okay.
Yep.
So I just wonder how many teams it is, but I mean, that's still good that somebody's able to help have a tournament, inviting them, and teams are willing to travel.
Yeah. Yeah. It looked like a lot of teams had dropped out of various tournaments that they had moved there. And then now they're just trying to come up with some alternate tournaments for the teams that are still willing to go.
Hmm. And I see that the Conzo, staying on the recruiting trail, acquired, or not acquired, but got a commitment from the Smet, was 6'7", 6'8" guy for
Hmm.
next season. He's definitely been racking up some good talent. What are your thoughts on this upcoming season with the players they have? I know that they said that they have the oldest roster in the SEC, which is
They also have the tallest,
right,
but
right,
Really?
yes,
but you have to think of it this way. It's because we have a dude, Jordan Wilmore, that's like 7'3",
right.
so it brings up the average
that
of the rest of
median right there, right because of him. Yep, yep.
Like they put something out on Twitter that was like Jeremiah Tillman, Mitchell Smith, and Jordan Wilmore, and they said like the average height of them are 7 feet. Well,
Right.
that's because Jordan's 7'3", and the other two are 6'10", 6'11".
Right.
So they are tall.
7'3", man. Where in the world did you get that? Ooh, jeez.
Yeah.
And then when I
I
saw,
ran into him one day at my job, and he was like looking down at the top shelf of an aisle where everybody else is like this. He's like looking down to get whatever he needed. I was like, oh my God, I know who that is.
yeah, I think there was
So
a
Crazy.
picture.
tall.
It was a picture on Twitter showing him along with R.J. Layton. I think is that correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You talking about a big number one and a zero? No, not a zero, a dot.
He was like using him as an armrest.
Oh my goodness, that was something else. So we know that, but about a year ago, Mizzou had that ban. The football team couldn't make the postseason. Softball team got banned. Um,
Baseball too, right?
baseball team got banned.
Hmm.
How do you feel from your perspective how that went down, Karen?
I think it is ridiculous that they received that ban for the actions of like one person on each team to be involved in that situation, and those people weren't even there anymore. I hate how the NCAA will come and get you for things that happened when it was a different coaching staff and a different group of kids that weren't even, they're not even there anymore. I don't like the punishment for things that happened when they're it's not even the same people.
Right. And then especially how Mizzou was being proactive with everything,
Right.
and you treat them as if we was trying to withhold information and trying to hide this or whatever else, and but then you got these other teams like North Carolina or KU who did far worse stuff and only got a little smack on the wrist like
Right.
bad boy.
Yeah.
This is kind of
Like they
crazy.
almost would have been better off not admitting to it, but I am glad they admitted to it. I wouldn't like to be associated with a shady athletic department.
Yeah,
Glad we have some character.
right. And going back to basketball, what are your thoughts on the women's basketball team? I know they're now 2 years away from not having Sophie Cunningham, which she should have probably more than likely her jersey retiring the Raptors years down the line. What are your thoughts on
Mhm.
the state of the women's basketball team?
Had a really rough year last year, but I attended Coach Pinchin's Zoom call over the summer, and she talked about their program, and she said that this is I mean, they're getting really good recruits left and right, and she said that this is the best recruiting class that they have had in maybe ever. I mean, they
Wow.
got a bunch of really good. You know, they may not have a Sophie, but they've got a lot of high level players, a lot of depth. Um, so I think that, you know, last year they had so like last year they had all these transfers that were sitting out on the bench that could have helped them so much, but they didn't get approval to play.
And that's political, personally, because it's
So
some people
yeah.
that could transfer and don't have to sit out, and others do. And I know they say
Mhm.
it's case by case, but it's like, go ahead.
Well, and the NCAA is likely going to approve in January um, a one-time transfer rule where as long as they transfer by May 1st,
Mm-hmm.
they can just go and play at their next institution.
And this proves my point partial with that decision they're making. And we were talking about the revenue earlier. I know they say in general these are institutions of higher learning and this and that. They're for profit because this proves the point. Well, why are you forcing kids? I'm not forcing them, but why are these commissioners and coaches forced to go ahead and play, get going, get out there? Because you need the money. Well,
Mhm.
then it's for profit because you're not. You can say you can go to the university, but we all know how many times universities do budget cuts and do departmental cuts, and yet still there are brand new stadiums built at the same school. Hypocrites. The
Yeah.
NCAA, like I said, they're carteling themselves, but I think that's BS as far as you're gonna make this one time exception. Make it all the time. You all are for profit. It again when they make the ruling on this whole paying players when they finally finalize it, the NCAA is going to eventually collapse. They're not gonna be able to keep up with other ways that people find ways to make money not going to college to do it.
Mm.
Hmm. Well, and it looks like they're getting pretty close to passing the name, image, and likeness um, rules, so the players may be able to actually be able to benefit off of all the money that the university is making off of them, which is nice. Like I remember when they started talking about it last year, I was talking to my dad about it, and I didn't even think of like the big name people and what kind of money, well, Michael Porter Jr. could bring in or something like that. Like I was thinking about it last year when Mizzou basketball released their schedule video. They had Reed Nico did the non-conference schedule, and he was walking around outside in the wilderness, like in a park, and like and because he was a fisheries and wildlife major, and I was like, this could benefit someone like him.
Mm-hmm.
If Bass Pro wants to have a commercial
Right.
that airs in Columbia that uses him, he could make he actually could make some money off that, and he's not. He wasn't the most well-known person on Mizzou's basketball team, or like someone like Carissa Schweitzer, um, just a phenomenal cross country runner. She could have been done a commercial for a signing, autograph signing, or something at like a shoe store in town or something like that, and made some money off that. So I wasn't even thinking about it from getting like big time athletes to do it. Like just there should be a way for them to make some extra money on the side because it's not like they can go have jobs off on the side. There's no way. There's not enough time. Everybody
And
else can have a job.
what? And I understand that, but and I thought was backwards. So a regular student that's taking 15 credit hours and get a part time job, right? We know with athletes, and not just the major sports, from athletes that are doing swimming, that are doing tennis, soccer, gymnastics, that they couldn't squeeze a lot of in their schedules. Just train, study, and
Right.
then when you're sports in season, you're doing all that traveling. And so I was like, well, if they can't get a job because they don't have the time. Why won't you make their stipend more money? Let's just make this be reasonable living wages. And why is it a
Right.
penalty? It's not illegal to make money. It's just NCAA rules. And it's like, this is 2020. Why are we still having these stupid rules to where they can't have more money stipend? Why they can't have a coach pay for them to fly back home and stuff? It's what do you call it, an infraction or something? Come
Yeah.
on, man,
Like
really?
I'd much rather them do it out in the open than like the shady stuff that people like Will Wade do.
You're right.
and
Yes.
and also yesterday it was announced, unfortunately, that the border war between KU and Mizzou basketball got postponed until the 21-22 season. So that sucks because I was hoping for it to be starting this year. But
Yeah.
what were your thoughts when you found out, Karen, that the border war was back?
About that this morning in my post to Rock and Nation. I was super excited that it came back. I probably screamed. I've been waiting because it's like I don't know how long Bill Self is going to hold out for this. We need him.
He sure was trying.
And I don't understand why. KU so good and powerful. Why y'all scared of Mizzou to play it?
Yeah, the whole thing's so weird. So I'm glad that they kind of got that taken care of. But then it sounds like in this case, Mizzou was trying to work it out so they could still play perhaps at another date, and they just it sounded like Mizzou was trying to make it work, and Kansas said nope, nope.
Mm.
It sounded like the same thing last week. The coach from Louisville posted regarding Calipari with Kentucky. They're trying to have their game, and he put them on blast, specifically Kentucky and Calipari was like, "Hey, I've been trying to have this game with y'all. We have the contract ready. You guys keep backing out." He had went on Twitter about it, and then coincidentally, KU was like, "Okay, we're gonna play y'all." Why does it take a coach to go on social media and put you on blast like you won't sign a contract? Like we've been waiting to play you all. What is
Right.
KU afraid of Louisville for? Really? We know you're
Well, and
supposed
I
to.
would much rather Mizzou play. Well, I just really want them to play KU. And I'm like, if you're looking at their schedule, I I know that the basketball people, I think probably everybody at Rock M, when they announced that they may play Liberty, like we were not happy. We were like, no, no, get rid of that game. We don't need to do that.
Toss it out the window with the bathwater, huh?
Like, no, we don't need to give them any money. We don't need to play them. And it was when they were talking about that they were going to play Missouri State, and then the Missouri State game fell through somehow. Like Cuonzo was talking about how like he was excited about playing this game, and that's where he had coached there. And then all of a sudden it was gone, and then it was replaced with this Liberty game.
Right.
It was like, I'd much rather play Missouri State.
Yep. That would have been a lot more entertaining, because of obviously the obvious reasons of him formerly coaching there. So
Right.
maybe some
Right.
way somehow they can go ahead and make that happen in the future. With you now, we wouldn't say, or would you say that you are in the media because you're a blogger?
Kind of. I don't know. I mean,
You like hesitate, like, I
I
think so.
I guess kind of. I don't know. I'm not fully. I'm not fully in the media.
So we know that over the past few years, there's been an influx of women in media holding things down, whether it's been on ESPN or etc. You're looking at the Carry Champions, looking at Maria Taylor, what she's doing right now, looking at I can't think of her name right now, Jamel Hill from ESPN.
Mhm.
Looking at going to Fox, you seeing Joy Taylor doing her thing. Bleacher Report, what's her name? Rooks. Her last name is Rooks. You know,
Oh, Taylor Brooks.
Taylor Rooks.
She was fantastic in the bubble.
Yeah, yes, and
Or Laura Rutledge at
yes,
SEC
yes,
Network.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Masika or Malika Anderson from ESPN. You just seeing an
Yeah.
influx of great young
Mhm.
talented women holding things down. When you see that, what are your thoughts?
I love it. Love it. I wish that I had stuff with the journalism thing back in college and seen what I could have done with it.
Yeah.
Especially after I stopped teaching, I was like, "Man, did I make a mistake?" I don't regret teaching, but I would have, I would have liked to have seen how things could have turned out.
Yeah. So this has been an incredible show so far, incredible interview as we get to the second hour of our show. And up next, we're gonna, like I said, it's ladies' night. So first person that we're gonna add in as we transition to everything baseball and hockey related. Now, Karen, do you follow hockey?
This much last year I was super into it. I had a harder time this year with it being in a bubble. I don't have regular TV. I use my parents' login for stuff. Thanks, mom and dad.
Yeah, I'm not mad. I understand.
Right, right.
So I did not like I keep up with it on Twitter and stuff like that, but I didn't get a chance to watch hardly any baseball or hockey this season with it being such a weird time.
Yeah. Well, we have our hockey insider along with baseball as well, as she is now joining us. And you may not see her face live, but you can definitely hear her. We have from Joe Knows. We got Joe. Joe, how are you doing?
I am doing good. How are you guys?
It's Joe and Baby Joe. Whoop, whoop. Joe
Hey.
and Baby Joe.
And Joe, how have you been enjoying this wonderful conversation with our special guest, Miss Karen Steger?
Been enjoying it. I love, I'm like on the same boat with the where she said like kind of wish it could have had the chance to be like these other females that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
I really like when Lane Gosh was the Cardinals reporter, but obviously I really enjoy like even like you wouldn't know, but like Julia Morales, she's the Astros lady and whatnot. So like I don't know, it's cool seeing that how many women are taking over sports right now.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And Karen, disclaimer, just so you know, so Joe loves baseball, loves the Cardinals, but she's also a huge Houston Astros fan.
Oh,
Even with their cheating ways and all, she still loves the Astros.
I was an Astros fan.
Uh-oh. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Still the whole cheating thing, and then it made me really
Mhm.
sad.
Hey,
It's
all
never
right, funny.
prosper unless you're an Astro, because they tend to
Funny.
be winning.
If the Cardinals came out and they were found being cheating, what would you do?
No, Cardinal Nation, I can't deport you all until next season.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I've been an Astros fan for as long as I can remember. I'm not going to stop being an Astro fan. Like that's silly.
Really disappointed.
Yeah, like I said, it's disappointing, but there's a lot of people that cheat in sports. Not just that, but like steroids and stuff too. So I mean, whatever.
Look, you got the
Let's
people
move
that
on.
cheat in sports and the people that cheat in sports that get caught. The people that cheat in sports is up here. The people that get caught are down here.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. It's all over the place. It's all over every single game. So I ain't mad about it.
And if you haven't seen the previous recent shows, Karen, Joe currently right now is pregnant. How many months now, Joe?
7.
7 months.
Bunny already on it. I like that, Bunny.
Because I want the December baby. I want December 29th to happen. To have unofficial birthday twin. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So Joe currently is pregnant, 7 months. Still taking wonderful photos with her husband, Brendan. Shouts out to him, Brandon. Hope he's doing.
Y'all both had
Yeah.
weddings over the weekend. Yeah, shout out to both of
Yeah.
you.
How's he holding up? You're not giving him headaches already, are you?
No, he might be getting a little annoyed because I keep bugging him about the room, but he was working on that today, so he's getting on it.
Nice.
Good father. Good father.
So let's get right into hockey real quick. Your thoughts today? It was announced that St. Louis will be holding down the NCAA Hockey Frozen Four, and was it 2025, 26?
Something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of those years.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Enterprise Center holding things down for that kind of event?
Hey, anything to help with like, anywhere in St. Louis, just to get some big events like that. Like I know even before COVID happened, there was supposed to be some gymnastics thing happening too. I think at Enterprise Center as well. So anything to get St. Louis on the map or whatever, it's awesome.
Yeah, I believe they said the last time they had the Frozen Four was like early 2000s. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
When I was like early middle school.
So yeah, and we had this talk. Our upcoming guest, who will be joining us very soon, says, "I wish the Pittsburgh Pirates, would cheat." Look forward to hearing her response with her teams. We're gonna bring that up very soon. But every time we have Joe on talking about hockey, of course. Karen, we always ask our special guests, where were you at when the Blues won the championship?
I was at Flat Branch Restaurant in Columbia, Missouri, watching it at the bar.
That's the place to be.
Cried at the bar.
Exactly.
With all the other people that were sitting up there. The bartenders and people that worked there were all cheering. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It's like every time, like I remember, I'm always at a bar or restaurant when there's
That
like,
one time at a bar, I was
in 2011. I was at the restaurant that I used to work at, sitting up at the bar. Like nobody cared about the Cardinals, but there I am sitting up there watching, just like crying like a baby because I'm a sports crier.
Oh, you're one of those. Oh, but again, best place to be. She was at the bar.
so Joe said that when the Blues won, it was emotional, but they had a lot of beverages at the house, and there was a lot of it was a lot of cussing going on and everything. So will you say the same thing happened your way, Karen?
Yes. Well, and they even had normal, they have a bunch of TVs there, but normally the sound's not on, and there's enough Blues fans that work there that they even had the sound on for the game and stuff. Because I had a hard time being able to watch it at home, not having a way to really watch it. And so I was like, I'd rather be around other people while I'm taking this in. But yes, there was a lot of shouting, a lot of swearing. Jumping up and down.
Love it.
Good atmosphere.
It was fantastic.
So we all know the big news over the last 48 hours is Alex Petrangelo is gone. I should call him how one of them NBC announcers called him Petro Angelo.
or Peter Angelo.
Oh my God. Like, what are y'all doing? But anyway.
Petro Angelo, that's cute.
So he moved on to the Vegas Golden Knights.
Hey, that was an offer he couldn't refuse. Shoot, I couldn't refuse that. Shoot.
Joe.
Now he's reunited with my other favorite former Blue, Ryan Reeves.
There it is. Bevo, right? They call him Bevo?
Revo, yeah.
Revo, yeah, there we go. Joe, your thoughts on Petro and the situation, how everything went down?
So I don't know if you noticed a couple weeks ago, I said I could see him be with the Golden Knights, so called it. But a lot of people seen that coming too. But I mean, I didn't have a good feeling that he was going to come back at all, especially after Army offered. I think it was like 8.8 mil or something like that. And then also once we signed Krugg over the weekend, I knew he was gone. So, I mean, over the weekend I was already over it. Like, I'm happy for him that, he got his contract. I do think he he kind of made it seem like Army and the Blues disrespected him, which I don't see that whatsoever.
No.
So that kind of annoyed me. But fans need to get over it. People are still talking about it. He moved on. That's that. I'll never forget. He was. None of us will forget that he was the first Blue to ever hoist the cup. Gave us that amazing memory for us for our lives. But yeah, we just gotta move on and
that amazing
hope on the
cover of
best.
Sports Illustrated. That's like the greatest picture ever taken.
Right.
Yeah, that's the most badass picture I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, I'll never forget it. But yeah, I mean, he moved on. We got a good defenseman back and another guy. So I mean, oh well. That's sports.
St. Louis will move on because they dog Pujols when he left, and have we moved on? 10 years later or 9 years later, we have. So they'll move on.
Now, what I like about this, and I really hope, I think I said this last week about watching the MLB playoffs and how I hope the Cardinals organization is watching how these players are playing with emotion, etc. I hope the Cardinal organization is following what the Blues management is doing, because Army did not make this personal. It was all about business. When he realized that Petro wasn't trying to, accept the deal without maybe having that, was it, no move clause, whatever it's called.
Yeah, no movement clause.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? You're not gonna be back. You're gonna go right to the next big thing.
Next man up.
And that's
and
what
Krugg was the next big
exactly.
defenseman, so that's why I'm happy he did that.
How much cheaper is Krugg compared to Petrangelo?
I think it was Petrangelo.
I'm calling Petrangelo. That was funny. I'm running with it.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was pretty close to what Petrangelo got.
Really? So that clause of the no move clause was his make or to break it for Petrangelo? Really?
Yeah, I think he got like $2 million less or something, but it was the no movement clause that was really his make or break. So.
Oh wow!
And Doug
so that's equivalent to the no trade clause in baseball and stuff.
Yeah, because Doug Armstrong was saying how he really didn't like the player having control of if they want to, move and not doing a certain time, in which that's what the no move, clause would have prevented. It would have been, would have happened. He wanted to make sure that they still had the control to say, you know what, hey, it ain't happening anymore. We're about to move you, trade you, whatever it is. So, it could have been.
Which makes sense.
Right,
But both sides, it makes sense, though.
Right.
From the player and the owner. Don't move me. I want to move you. I get it. Both sides is fine.
But like I said before, I hope this Cardinals organization can learn from what the Blues have been doing and how they make moves. And that's why I brought up the whole issue with Wainwright and Molina last week. Like, we understand that, of course, we had the pandemic and had the fans, but don't make a move off of sentimental emotions. Make a move because of business. Do what's best to help this team. Like, now that we got Krugg and Kyle Clifford, looks like to me this next season we're gonna have a better Blues team than we had this past season. Am I wrong, Joe?
I mean, I don't know if it would be absolutely better. Like, you still got to look at the fact that we don't have Tarasenko, but like Brendan wrote out the lines last night. The lines are still deep. We still got a good defense. Like, losing Petrangelo, yeah, it sucks, and like the leadership role, but Krugg taking over, and we got some young kids coming up for defense. I think we're gonna be totally fine.
And looks like one of the issues that the Blues had over this past season, even when they won the championship, was puck control, possession, and looks like that's what Krugg can bring as a defenseman. Is that correct?
Yeah, so definitely on the power play. If you, that's what he's really known for. Especially what I keep seeing with all the big writers writing about is, he's really good on the power play as well. So that's really going to help us, because if you've paid attention the last couple of years, the Blues power play
sucked.
Wasn't that great? Yeah, to put it nice.
That's all what it is. Like Smooth said, it's sucked.
Hey,
yeah.
Because how many times did we all say, "Shoot the puck, shoot it"?
They treat it like hot potato and just did not want to finish it. I don't know why, but
man. But Like I said, Torey Krugg. Tell us about Kyle Clifford. Your thoughts on him.
I like him too. I mean, he wasn't this. I won't even really call him a scorer, but he wasn't the guy that I wanted. But he kind of takes over that Pat Maroon role. And hey, he's got his name on the cup a couple times too, so he's got the experience. So you can't go wrong with that either.
Right. So now we're gonna transition to Major League Baseball. The Dodgers just demolished the Braves this evening, and right now,
I couldn't believe that.
right, it kind of reminded me of last year's NLDS Game 5.
Yeah, it sure did. I think last night though the Dodgers had all the momentum coming into this game because they almost tied and
Right.
possibly could have won that game last night. So momentum for sure, but this hurts the Braves because they had to play the whole game and use their bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
So that sucks.
And right now, the Houston Astros are up 4-2. But guess who had a home run tonight, Joe?
Tuve was third of the series.
But also, who else had a home
Randy
run?
tied it.
There
Randy
you
tied
go.
it.
But now, once again,
I called it too. I was sitting there. I was like, "Watch, Randy's gonna tie this right here." He did, sure enough. If they win, which I do, obviously think they're gonna win the series. I told Brendan that I think they're gonna sweep this series. So, he's gotta probably be the main person for the MVP of the championship series. You would think
has to be.
He's hasn't been big moments in games, but he's just been hitting regardless. So unless you give it to the bullpen, but you can't do that. So.
And Karen, what has been your thoughts if you have been watching the MLB playoffs?
I have not watched.
Oh.
What, Karen?
Hey, she's so busy, what I'm saying, being the it girl for Rock M Nation,
We don't talk about professional sports area.
Got you. Oh, so Altuve, what's going on with him, Joe?
We were talking about it earlier. I think it's honestly just obviously it's not his offense because he's batting 400 in the playoffs, so
right.
It's just a defensive thing. I don't know what started it because he was fine the other rounds, but I was telling Brendan, I was like, even whenever I was warming up a pitcher, and then your practice throw down in a second, if I threw it well into the outfield, that sticks with you. That's in your head, So you make one little error like that, and it just kind of sticks with you. Like yesterday, he made a routine play, but it just looked wrong,
right.
So I think just any time he doesn't know where to release the ball, it's just in his head, and that happens.
Mm-hmm. And thought before today's game that the Dodgers may be looking at a 3-0 deficit. They say, we're gonna show you why we're gonna show you why we are the Dodgers, and they definitely did that. Do you see them creeping up back in the series and maybe overtaking the Braves, or the Braves still got it going on more than the Dodgers?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you're a Braves fan, you still have to feel good just because you're up in the series. Dodgers do have Kershaw going tomorrow. He was having some back spasms situation going on, but I saw that he said he's ready to go. But we all know what Kershaw looks like in the playoffs most of the time, so who knows? Anything could happen, honestly. But I don't know. I think they're two just evenly matched teams, honestly. It's pitching, defense, offense, everything.
So
you didn't see me while you were talking, Joe. I was doing a tomahawk chop, so that means the Braves will still beat the Dodgers. Oh. I'm just saying.
I mean, I hope the Braves beat them, obviously, but I'm just tired of the Dodgers.
But the Dodgers, what's funny? Back when the Cardinals were going to the playoffs year after years in the 2010, 11, 12 era, anytime we faced Kershaw or the Dodgers, we weren't scared of them. They got us one time, but we kept getting them. It's like Kershaw would choke in this NLCS a lot. So I don't put all that hype he gets for the regular season. When it comes to postseason, Kershaw was just another pitcher to me. He's nobody that's worth all the hype and gets shaken over.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Kershaw, you just don't know what you're going to get from him in the playoffs. He's had 2 really dominant starts in the playoffs the last couple of years, but other than that, he's kind of just been an average pitcher. You know, he
Exactly.
comes down to earth a little bit, which it sucks. Like I love Clayton Kershaw. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a great pitcher. It's fun watching him, but um, I just don't like the team that he plays for. So let's go Braves.
I don't even think it's the Dodgers, but I just think it's funny. The regular season Kershaw does not transfer over to the postseason Kershaw, which is weird.
Yeah.
It's like a quarterback of regular season, and when a quarterback makes the playoff first game, he's getting sacked and he's not throwing his passes. Like, he's just horrible. It's like, why does this happen every time you go to the playoffs? Like you said, 2 good starts, and he's been in the playoffs for at least the last 5-6 years. It doesn't equate to anything. It's like, what the hell happens there? You choke. I know a long season happens, but postseason is a different beast. It's just like he's just never got his stuff that he needs to have.
Yeah, that's not a small sample size. You know, they've been in the playoffs they won their division the last 8 years, I think, straight. So it's not a small sample.
Yeah, he knows what to expect.
Broke him.
Show up.
All right, so I said earlier that this is ladies' night. As you see, the ladies have definitely taken over, and I love it. I can just sit back and enjoy seeing and hearing ladies who know their sports, and the party does not stop, as now we are bringing in a friend of the show. She was holding things down. She actually tuned in the very first show we ever had. She tuned in and showed love. She's always been a fan of our sports talk show. She has that incredible knowledge as well. She's a 3-time champion from the St. Louis Slam women's professional football team. They some beast, and it's a pleasure and it's fun to have Annie Greer back joining us tonight. Annie, where you at? How you doing?
How you do that there? You muted, Annie. There you go, honey.
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Hey, Annie, good to see you again. How are you?
I'm doing great. Not sports-wise. My sports teams have definitely gone the way of 2020 this year. So I'm out of sports hope right now.
I was going to say my condolences because Golden State didn't do anything. Clay didn't play. Your Clippers, you know what happened there. Pittsburgh Pirates are the Pittsburgh Pirates.
We'll win it next year.
You know, so you got a little stuff going on right now, not going your way. And then, of course, the Cowboys, they not doing too well. And, of course, Dak got hurt. So I know when you saw Dak get hurt. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said, and the Penguins didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And the Slam football season got canceled.
So 2020 just been all bad, man. All
Throw
bad.
it away. It's trash. Just throw it all away.
Yeah, my only hope for a solid sports season is the Seattle Sounders, which is my favorite MLS team. And I'm trying not to watch Tar Heel football because I don't want to jinx them, but they are playing well. So who knows what we might do in football. And I'm already giving up on the UNC basketball team. So
Already? Why?
Because they always find a way to break my heart. It's like that ex you keep letting back in your life, and you know they're not going to do better, even though they make promises. That's how the Tar Heels are. So.
Got you. So just a little background, Karen and Joe and Bunny, because we brought up Pittsburgh team. So Annie is originally from Pittsburgh. Is that correct?
Yep.
And then spent some years here in St. Louis, and now she's residing in Florida, probably in some great weather. Is that correct?
Yep.
Even though St. Louis have been experiencing some good 80-degree weather recently, so hey, we kind of like y'all for a minute.
Until that snow comes.
Right. I'm like, dang it, why she gotta move to Florida? She lucky, but then of course
I did the traditional sports thing. I've retired and then moved to Florida, so
right.
That's how my sports career went.
What has been your thoughts? And I'll ask you, Joe. Well, I asked Joe already, but what has been your thoughts on our interview so far with Miss Karen Steger?
I've really been enjoying it, and just like you mentioned, so many women writing about sports, being commentators for various sports, and not being relegated to only covering women's sports. So it's just good to see another woman out here representing.
So, Karen, swimmer. Joe was a back catcher. Annie, football star. Bunny, tell us something.
I could have musical talents. I play a little basketball. I mean, I got a bomb shot from the free throw line. How about that?
You said a bomb shot. I
Free
love
throw
it.
line. I didn't say bomb shot like all over the court. Free throw line. That's my thing.
Got you, got you, got you. So, Bunny, I'm gonna let you lead the way on this, because ladies, like I said, I wanted to discuss this with everyone on the show. Uh, we all know what's going on with Breonna Taylor and in Louisville, Kentucky. I know, Karen, that you're really big in regards to social justices. We've seen what LeBron has been doing, has been saying what professional teams have been doing and saying. As ladies, as seeing what's going on right now in the world, and Wayne, like I said, I'll let you go ahead and push everything else. I just want to start it off and get everyone's opinion. We start off with Karen, and then just go around to Joe, Eddie, Bunny, and I'm gonna really sit back and just enjoy. But what are your thoughts from a woman's perspective with everything that's going on right now in this world?
Um, really upsetting, and I'm just trying to do what I can to help educate people about it, try to get people to get out and vote and share whatever I can that I come across that just kind of tells people what is going on.
Yeah, and I am really proud of the WNBA and the different steps that they took during their season. And that was not new to them. Their history of their league has been fighting for equity, whether it's in sports or in society at large. So I really was impressed with what many of them did, both during like the season and the actual games, as well as what many of them, do off the court around these things as well. And for Atlanta in particular, I mean, it's bold when you run campaign ads for the political opponent of your owner. Like for them to just be like, we don't care who pays for this team. We put our money together and we're doing political ads against her. And so like that takes real balls.
Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I mean, that stuff I see just on social media. That's how I follow along with it. But I mean, it is nice seeing, like she said, with the WNBA and whatnot, and even just baseball and hockey, everyone just the steps they're taking for it. It's nice seeing. It's definitely different than it's been in years past when things like this have happened.
And I was really surprised with the moves that I saw from hockey in particular. I think of all the sports that not only have not really thrown their hat in the ring in terms of like social justice, but really wouldn't have a reason to, given not only their viewer base, but also their player base. They could have very easily have been like, this does not, cater to our audience. And so we're just going to, completely leave it out. And I thought that they made some that they took some significant actions and it wasn't just performative. And so that was really exciting to see from the National Hockey League for sure.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty dope. I think it was like the very first night being in a bubble and had the young man, center ice. And, it just really big to see hockey doing what they did. Even with NASCAR, what was it, Bubba Wallace, taking a big stand when he did what he did as well. It just really shows how much they are really they won't say it, but all these professional teams and players, their real goal is to make, of course, is to make sure that everyone gets the opportunity to vote and don't have anything holding them back because they're tired of what this guy is doing right now. Because that's that's the main reason why everything's going on, what's going on in regards to having these stadiums opening up their facilities to have people vote, um,
Mhm.
etc. Because it's time to change what's going on with how the world has been acting.
And specified how this country has been acting. Of course,
Hmm.
we're not talking about anything new under the sun, unfortunately. We're talking about decades and centuries. But this is 2020. We know it's been a different year. And I still want this momentum to go over to 2021, 2022, 2023, and beyond. Funny thing, I was just telling my friend yesterday, I said, you know what? Back in June, after George Floyd protests were really hitting the streets and people were protesting, and you had some corporations making noise about we're going to give Juneteenth as a day off for employees. I said, let me ask my congresswoman, well, she just got elected. Let me ask her to put that as a bill next year, make that a federal holiday. We always, sometimes when stuff is in style or in season to do this, do that. I can't change the color of my skin. A lot of players can't. No one can, I'm sorry. But the fact is, let's keep the momentum going next year. Just don't let it be because of the quarantine and pandemic. No, it doesn't stop here. Keep it going. And
Hmm.
actually, if we take it back a couple years ago with the U.S. national women's soccer team, they were protesting for a pay wage. It was a disparity for the men and women. And it took it to the Supreme Court, even if they didn't win. But it's like women have been fighting for justice for pay equality, let alone racial equality. It's nothing new, but it's like we always have to do an extra step. But now more than ever, we are getting heard. And eventually, and we don't need to sit there and just protest because we'll finally have our seat at the table. It's not always about just making noise and just getting something here. We want an opportunity and we want to stay there as well.
I think Sammy Sosa would challenge you as to whether or not an athlete can change their color.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's an ugly change of color he did on himself. It almost like it's not real. Like, what in the
Mm. Mm.
world?
Yeah, he doesn't look too good.
Yeah.
That's all bad.
Tell him that was cute.
I asked Karen and Bunny earlier about ladies in media. It seems like there's been a nice uptick of women just taking over in regards to the media. Annie, what are your thoughts on seeing the influx of ladies holding things down?
Absolutely. I mean, it's to me, it feels long overdue, but my first like sports crush icon person was Pam Oliver,
Yeah.
reporting from the sidelines of Cowboys games in the early 90s. And so, like, that was like my introduction to all of that and seeing, a woman attached to the game in that way. So yeah, it's been great to see, and not only in the media, but Jeannie Buss being the first women owner, primary owner of a basketball team to win a championship. Um, you had yesterday the first woman being the lead producer of an NFL broadcast for the Tuesday night game that took place. So we are seeing women in these historical firsts all over the place, and I appreciate it because I think it's important that kids see in particular that that girls don't just have to have women as role models in sports, and boys don't have to just have men as role models in sports. But hopefully there are boys looking at what these women are doing as well and saying, I want to be a reporter, not just I want to be a male reporter when I grow up, or I want to lead NFL broadcasts. And I have lots of people, a diversity of people to look to for how to successfully do that, and not just men. So I appreciate that as well. And I felt the same way playing football. Like as much as, I mean, the St. Louis Lamb, we're also a nonprofit organization. We definitely focused on, girls in the St. Louis area and increasing, their health, well-being, and all of that. But we wanted boys to watch us play too and be like, dang, I want to tackle like Jelani Kelly, or I want to run like Taylor Hay, or I want to throw like Jamie Gall, or, I want to pick six like Keith Smith. Like we wanted them to see we wanted boys to also see what we were doing and to be like, I want to emulate my game after these excellent football players and not just like, oh, well, they're girls and that's cute, but I want to play like these guys. It was like, nope. These are people whose technique and style I can emulate as well, and I think that that's happening across the board in sports for women.
And Karen, when you are you familiar with Noelle Ivy?
Girls basketball legend here from St. Louis.
Yeah.
Went to Notre Dame.
Make sure Karen, you still on? You want to make sure that you can
Yeah.
hear me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that name, no.
Okay. Yeah. She's Missouri native. Played for Notre Dame. Now she's head coach, taking over for Muffet McGraw. I believe that's her name from Notre Dame.
Mhm.
Just doing big things, and just in regards to coaching overall for ladies. Andy, we had this conversation a while back. Bunny, I know we had as well. Looks like very soon it's possible that we can have a lady as a head coach in the NBA. How soon do you think that's going to happen? Because I think it's right around the corner.
Uh, I mean, I don't know. I would like to be optimistic about it. I feel like we always feel right around the corner from something happening. And as much as, a candidate like Becky Hammond or something will keep getting traction when head coaching jobs come open, we still see the same people getting rotated in and out of these positions. Um, you know, or like, I'm sure Steve Nash is awesome, but Becky Hammond now has more coaching experience than him, and yet he was given a high profile job.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as we may talk about like, okay, it's almost about to happen whenever these jobs come open, it's
It
like
still doesn't happen.
this woman interviewed, and now we have, we're trying to bring Steve Van Gundy out of retirement to come coach. And I love the Van Gundys, don't get me
Right.
wrong, but it's like that's getting more traction than any of the, women coaches. So I feel like they keep just throwing out enough of a bone to make you feel like it's going to happen soon, but whenever it comes time to actually do something, that's not what happens.
Now, before we continue, y'all notice how she's showing off them rings, right?
And I'm not
I'm not mad at her. Go ahead, that bling bling, honey. You earned it. Go ahead, honey.
I'm not even thirsty for real. This is just
I love it. I love it. So we have a three-time champion in football. We have a swimming a coach who was who led a state championship. Look at that, two-time. There we go.
Right. Get it right, baby.
There we go.
Several individuals in relay teams also, but there's team state championships.
Bunny, I'm sorry, Joe. What was the highest that y'all got to in high school when you played as a catcher?
It's always like the conference games. Looking at our rings, I was going to next time I have my face on Zoom, I have to set up all my trophies and plaques behind me,
Yeah.
so that so everyone can see that. But yeah, no, just some conference games and whatnot. Like we were in I went to Hancock, so it's not like a big, well-known, conference or whatever, smaller schools or whatnot. But it was still awesome. And then played like select softball and whatnot, which was always fun.
Mm-hmm. And Andy, what were your thoughts on the NBA Finals?
I didn't watch all of it because I love Jimmy Butler. He's like I don't know. He's giving Clay a run for his money in terms of my favorite non-Clipper player. But every game I watched, they lost. And the two games I didn't watch, they won. So I was like, maybe Jimmy just gets nervous when I'm watching him play. I didn't watch game 6.
Oh my gosh.
The spotlight was just too bright when I was watching him play. So I didn't watch game 6 because I couldn't. I felt like I was jinxing him.
Now,
you know you really didn't miss anything because there wasn't a lot of offense on the Miami side.
now we had a
I think they were
conversation.
too tired. They were so tired.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
was. You could tell he looked exhausted.
Yeah.
Like,
They were all so tired.
Now we had a conversation a while back, Andy. We were talking about this, the Jordan LeBron thing, and I believe you was kind of like making points that LeBron should be right there or better. How do you feel about LeBron now after winning his 4th ring with 3 different teams?
I said what I said. I've been on the LeBron is better than MJ thing for years.
Okay.
So, yep.
Look at Bunny.
So nothing changed. Nothing changed.
Bunny, we're
That's
both.
what I said.
Go ahead, Bunny.
Ow, Annie. And you said for years. Okay, I'm going to try to give 2 big differences. Every time MJ went to the finals, he got a ring. LeBron can't say that. Every time.
Still hasn't been to as many finals as LeBron either.
LeBron's been to 6. He's lost 2, won 4, correct?
No, 10.
No, he
Well,
lost.
in Cleveland, okay, the first time with
He lost
Cleveland.
4.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Huh?
He's won 4 and lost 4, right?
No.
Or won 4, lost 5?
He's won
No.
4, lost 2.
No, 6.
But in Cleveland,
He lost 2 in Miami. He lost 2 in Cleveland, right? Or 3 in Cleveland.
Yep.
Hasn't he won 4, lost 5?
he did lose 3. The first time with the Cleveland, first stint, he lost once, and then the second time he lost 2. Is that right? I forgot, but 2 different times with Cleveland, he's lost something, right? Well, there. Still, I said the finals though. You said he's going more. I mean, I think if MJ was not retired those 2 years, he would have had 2 more rings as well.
Hey,
That's saying. Now I know they're like, because he just got 3 different
we all
teams.
have a Merry Christmas.
Huh?
I said if and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. We can't talk about.
Hey, we are having a Merry Christmas. We will
What
have
does
a
that
Merry
mean?
Christmas, honey. Don't worry, we will. I promise we'll have a Merry Christmas. We will. But still, and then I'm looking, okay, so LeBron got a 3-year start on MJ? Because LeBron came out right out of high school. MJ came out after his junior year. So he had 3 years on him, minus the 2 years of retirement. Okay. And we know MJ took what? He came to the league in 84, got his first ring in 91, so 7 years. LeBron got his first ring after how many years in the league?
Like 7.
He got his first ring in 2012, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're like equal. Oh no, took a little. Yeah, they're almost equal with that. And I said, okay. So again, I'm not knocking LeBron. LeBron's great. I just put him tied with Kobe. It still seems like people still don't even put him with Kobe.
In this conversation, y'all. Kobe is not. You can't have the poor.
Now that's blasphemy. Now, come on now. That is straight up blasphemy.
That don't make no sense.
That does. That's straight blasphemy to say that Kobe and LeBron had the same conversation. Come on now. You heard about Jordan and Kobe. You gonna tell me LeBron?
That is LeBron is a completely different player.
And what has his word? What?
No, you can't be like Kobe.
Oh, I can be. I am. You come on now.
Too. That's
Look
crazy.
at the stats. Look at me. I'm touching this wall here. I'm telling you.
That is crazy.
Some straight time. I don't have that much time to look up all them stats. But you can't tell me Kobe and LeBron can't be in the same sentence. We know LeBron plays the 3 and sometimes 4. Kobe and Jordan both play the 2. And we know the style of basketball Jordan was playing back then is sure not the basketball they play now. They get away with more now than back then. Now, y'all already know that defense is played differently, and it was tougher. Come on now. When we know the rules are a little more lax now, a little bit. I get why. I'm not going to take their skills away from them, but come on now.
Mm.
No. So LeBron is 4-6.
Oh, with that type of defense from the early 90s and late 90s to what you're doing now, man, Jordan probably going 40 points on average. That defense ain't even the same. Come on now. That makes a huge difference.
No. So LeBron is 4-6 in finals.
Yeah.
So he's been to more than Jordan. He's taken worse teams than Jordan to the finals. And you said he plays the three, sometimes four. LeBron plays all five positions. Here's why LeBron is the best basketball player. If you want to set up a scenario where, like, who do you want to take the last shot, or who would win a game of horse or something, there's certainly arguments to be made for Jordan, just because his petty, like, he's more petty than LeBron. I'll give him that. So he won't let himself lose. So I get that. But in terms of, like, a
best player on your team, hence why Kobe was the same way. He emulated Jordan. Everybody talked about LeBron, especially in the Miami time. LeBron, why aren't you taking a shot? D Wade gave you the team, and you still sitting here acting all a little scared.
No, he didn't.
Those finals.
He did. The first finals, you know, he did. He admitted that. He was dominant in those subsequent finals. He was dominant in those subsequent finals.
I bet you. What's the Dallas?
He has more. He has more last-minute game-winning shots. He has more clutch minutes and clutch shots than Jordan did and than Kobe did. Those are just facts. People get selective memory about Kobe. People are like, Kobe's last game was he scored 60 points. He took 120 shots. I could score 60 points if I put up like 120 shots. Like,
that was a mercy game, but we know when he did it, when he was really balling against when he did it against Jackson. We know what Kobe can do. You can't be great and have a lot of points and share. Okay, when he had this teammate with AD, that's what Smooth asked me a week or two ago. Was that the best teammate LeBron had? I said no. D Wade was from right now. D Wade said no. AD was. That's fine, but I'm just looking at how he played and what was going on. I still say D Wade was a better teammate for LeBron than AD. Now, AD eventually can be that way, but he hasn't proven himself. All I know is Jordan's style of play, LeBron's style of play is two different things, two different leagues. Because you just said LeBron played all five positions. In the 80s and 90s, a person didn't have to do that. Because everybody knew that they rolling did it well enough where you didn't have to be that person. LeBron had to do five positions because
LeBron. That's not make the case for LeBron. Jordan had people who could skillfully play other positions.
Okay.
I mean, Jordan,
that was the style, and I said the style of the play back then wasn't the same. And I also said the defense wasn't the same either. And you know that defense was not the same. They get away with more now. That was tougher defense back then.
And that's fine.
Let me say this. You know how LeBron cries every time he gets fouled and it gets on my nerves? He cries every time. If he played in the 90s, that boy would probably get 20 shots up. He was crying so much he couldn't even, let alone hit free throws. He's so wishy-washy with that, too. I'm surprised at this age in his game that he's still wishy-washy with free throws.
No, because the thing about it is that, yeah, you can say it was officiated differently and all of that. But LeBron James is like a physical specimen. If he was required to body people, he would body them. You don't have
now. He doesn't now. Gets away with it. It's called offensive fouls that they don't call against him.
No, but that's not the same thing as saying that he couldn't do it. It's just not required for him to do that. LeBron James is a physical specimen. He could play in any era of basketball and dominate. Just as I think Jordan would be good in today's game too. Jordan would be great in today's game. Jordan would be a top 3 player in today's game, even with it being officiated differently. He would learn how to make 3-pointers. He would be able to shoot from outside. Like, he would adjust his game to the era. And LeBron is built to have played body ball in the 90s. It's just not required now. So he's not gonna, he's not gonna do it. But to me, LeBron James could convincingly play and defend all 5 positions on the court. He's exceptionally talented at every skill that you would want in a basketball player, and has just physical gifts that are unmatched in terms of his height, weight, length, like his length, wingspan, like all of that in combination. He is what you would input into a machine to craft like the mold, the prototype for a basketball player. And I think Michael Jordan is the second best basketball player. And by the margin. Like, I'm not ridiculous like Jordan fans who act like LeBron is a scrub or something. Like, people can be great and be 1A and 1B, but people act like, I don't know. People who want to make the case for Jordan feel like they can only make that case if they act like LeBron is a scrub and not even in the top five. People who think LeBron is number one and recognize the greatness of Jordan as well. So,
I
but
said
Kobe doesn't
LeBron's
deserve to
great,
be in this
Kobe's
conversation.
great, Jordan's great. That triangle, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe. That's just me.
Not
That'd be
a-
crazy. I just know one thing. LeBron better not ever lose a finals again because Jordan does not have it on his resume. LeBron does, even if he's been to the finals 20 times. When you are a star player and you are that guy, you're not going to lose in the finals. I don't care who or what's on your roster.
No, but that shows you about Jordan's character too. He left when he knew that he wasn't good enough to win championships. It was like championships or I'm not playing. And then he came back, had that one scrub season with the Wizards, and was like, okay, well, I'm going back to
What's
playing.
the difference for him doing
I
that
can't
and
win.
LeBron jumping ship in Cleveland? And what's the difference? Jumping
He
ship in
didn't, jump,
Miami.
he didn't jump ship in Cleveland. First of all,
He didn't jump ship to go to Miami?
no, that's not jumping ship. His contract was up.
So why he could have gotten it renewed? Come on now. He chose to leave.
Of course he could have gotten it renewed, but it's not jumping ship to be like, my contract is up. I want to go play with my friends. I got to play with 35 of my friends for my 3 championships. Like, he wanted to go play with his best friend and with an ownership and management and coach that were actually trying to win something. Just being a part of the Cavaliers is not,
But then he went back to that same organization.
You said what?
But he went back to that same organization with that same ownership.
And he got them a championship. Like, what more do you? So, okay, let me see. So you're mad at him for leaving. You're saying he jumped ship, and then he goes back, and you're mad at him for going back.
Whoa! I never said he was. I never said I was mad for him going back. I don't have a LeBron passion. Like, oh my God, that's not me. My loyalty and my love for basketball still goes with Jordan. I'm not mad at him for. You're a grown man. You go wherever you want to. When KD left from the Thunder to the Warriors, I'm like, hey, free country, free man. Do what you gotta do.
Exactly.
I'm not mad at you.
So it doesn't anybody's greatness record. LeBron has taken and won championships with 3 different teams. Why isn't that seen as something Jordan ever did? Jordan didn't take the Wizards anywhere. LeBron got like a busted Cavs team, to the conference final. So yeah, like no, with the first run with the Cavs, like.
Man, this has been awesome TV. Karen, do you have any input?
I like both of them. I haven't formed an opinion on whether or not one is better than the other. I think they are both excellent in their own right. And I want to see what LeBron continues to do.
Yeah. Joe, how you doing over there? Are you enjoying the conversation? Because I know I am.
Yeah, I was just over here laughing, listening to it. But my only thing is, like, I always said, like, I like LeBron as, like, a human. Obviously, he's a good freaking basketball player or whatever. But he kind of annoys me how he makes it seem like he's disrespected around the league. Like, that annoys me. Like, I don't see anything about that. Just because you didn't win the MVP this year doesn't mean you're disrespected, Like, that just kind of annoys me. But other than that, like, obviously he's good. But obviously so's Jordan and Kobe. So, but like I said last week, basketball's not my sport. I just see him on Twitter all the time, like, talking like he's disrespected, which I don't think he is.
It is, because people keep putting Kobe's name in the same sentence as his, and that's disrespectful.
I think he likes it now that he's in LA, but like I said, again, I don't know a damn thing about basketball, so that's that. I just know the big names, and I see what I see on social media.
Yeah. And it looks like Bunny may have had some issues with her connection, so she dropped out. Hopefully, she'll come back in.
The spirit of LeBron got her for talking that nonsense.
That's what it was. Okay.
Well, and I just like what LeBron does off the court.
Yeah.
I love everything that he does off the court.
Yeah, totally agree.
Fantastic.
You can't hate on what he's doing, man. He's one of the few that will use his platform and say whatever he want to say about President Trump or whoever else. He'll use his voice. He's not scared to put it out there, and he'll back it up. And that's what he's done. That's why I admire him from the moment he was in high school to now. He has backed up everything that he said. From all the people, all the hype that he had from high school to what he's doing now. He has exceeded, by far, exceeded expectation. And that's what people tend to forget about sometimes is how they put the focus on who's better than who, whatever. Sometimes some people just can't be compared because of what they do overall. People have wished that Jordan would have taken more of a stand back then like LeBron did. Then it took people to see the Last Dance documentary that may have changed their mind because it got more of a personal view. But with LeBron, it's like it's all out there. Look at what he's doing.
Well, social media for you, though.
Yeah. And
like if social media was around back then with Jordan and whatnot, maybe you do see more of that stuff. But that's like what I said. I know all this stuff about LeBron because of social media, and that's that.
Right. I think someone brought this up a while back, but like Joe just said, if social media was going on back when Jordan was playing, how you think Jordan would be perceived, or would things have changed differently in regards to his career?
Of course, he would be perceived differently. I mean, that's like with any historical figure that wasn't around during social media. If we really knew what they were up to, or as it comes to like now, what they were up to during those times, it's hard for people to change now, like how the ideas that they have about people cemented, but they of course would have judged things differently then.
Karen, your thoughts?
The same, and I don't know anything that I don't know enough about Jordan and what he did off the court really to be able to, like, he's no LeBron in that respect, I feel like, because I don't think that he has done anything like what LeBron and so many other of the current NBA players are doing in their communities to raise awareness about the things that are going on. Like, I don't know if I have missed it, but I feel like Jordan has kind of been more silent about those sorts of things.
And then, like, look at what Jordan just did over the last 2 weeks ago. He now is like a part owner of a race team.
Oh yeah, of the race team. That's like the first thing that I can even recall him doing. Really, I'm sure I've missed stuff. I was a Jordan fan, but I didn't pay as much attention to the NBA then as I do now.
Yeah.
But I
Jordan
was happy
was
to.
like AV. If Jordan had existed during social media, I could see Jordan having burner accounts in order to clap back at people talking trash about his game. Like, he's just far too petty to have like ride and be silent. But there was just no way for people to really come at him other than on the court, where we know he was a notorious trash talker. So if you had given him like a platform and a phone in his hand that he could at will get millions of people see him embarrass somebody or call somebody out or talk trash about somebody's game, Jordan would have been all for it. He would have had burner accounts to defend himself. Like, he would have been a mess. He would have been charged probably with fixing games because of his gambling habit. Anytime he missed a shot, people would have questioned whether or not he had been paid to miss it. Like, we would view his legacy entirely differently if he had access to social media, because he's super fit.
Man, well, ladies, this has been truly an incredible show. Ladies' Night officially went down on the platform Sports Talk Show. I was trying to check and see if Bunny was good. Maybe, like I said, could have a connection issue or whatever. So hopefully she's all right. She's good. She's not defeated about the LeBron James Jordan talk. But
I told you, LeBron cut her line. That's what she did.
Snap.
Right, exactly.
Oh,
You said, what about my finals record?
right.
You hit the off button real quick.
Karen, I know that you saw my post yesterday how LeBron James built his daughter her own little mini home. Your thoughts on that? How cool was that?
Oh,
I
that was
thought it made me laugh when she was trying to clean up the floor because he made it dirty. But yeah, I mean, if you have the money, you do something like that. I thought
But
it was
is there an
awesome.
update on his son yet?
Oh,
Right.
not yet. But hey, stay tuned on ESPN. I'm sure LeBron will have a half an hour segment whooping his son.
Yeah. That's all after they won the championship. That's all I seen on Twitter was people like, this is what's going to be happening to LeBron's son afterwards, like once he gets home or whatever. So we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, funny stuff. Yeah. So, did the Slam get any word on when they can possibly restart or have a new season, Annie?
So I think the league is still discussing what the season will look like moving forward. A number of teams have already started, socially distanced practices and workouts and getting together in smaller groups and those sorts of things. Some teams have already started having some tryouts. So hopefully the league will be able to move forward this coming year. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
So I could always come back and watch some games. It'll be weird to be in the stands and not on the field, but I'll always support my team.
Now if you come in town and go to the game, they're gonna say, "Oh, come on down here to the sidelines." The same way they do in the NFL or in college. Like going to Mizzou, you see how or like the Alabama games or Auburn games, you'll see the legends, Hall of Famers be on the field just chilling, not like right in the trenches, but they'll be on the
Mhm.
side, folding their hands, supporting. So you can probably do that still.
No, you don't know our coaches. They are not about those distractions. That's why
Got you.
the bench we use during our games is technically the away bench because they don't want us talking to families or getting distracted by having the fans right behind us. So no,
Got you.
we are no distractions operation. I can see them before and after the game.
And last question in regards to for Annie, you brought up the Sounders earlier. St. Louis is going to have the St. Louis SC. Do you see yourself possibly becoming a fan of that team?
No, I already have a
I had to ask the question.
We ought to get soccer. I think soccer would be well received in St. Louis for sure, and I look forward to the Sounders beating you. 'Cause I'm sure-
Well, bring it on, buddy. Bring it on. All right, Karen, it was a pleasure having you on. I hope that after this episode that you share, let everybody know about the Platform Sports Talk Show. Joe, thanks again for being on. You're always excellent. Bunny did say that she is having connection issues with her internet, so and it's still off right now. So LeBron James got some power going on.
Always with the win. Always.
And Annie, it's been a pleasure seeing you again on the show. How long has it been since you've been on?
Man, it's been over a year.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
But hey, nothing's changed. You still holding things down. Love it. Unfortunately, you couldn't have stand on. That would have been more entertainment. But we'll say that for a whole different day.
He's scared too.
He's scared. Oh, that wasn't what it is. So
Calling you out, Stanton. You were too scared to come on the show. Hope you're watching this.
Oh, we had a comment. I'm not sure if she's associated with you, Annie, or it could be Bunny or just a fan of the show. But we had a Jasha Chambers. She was laughing throughout the whole time. You and Bunny was going back and forth about Jordan and LeBron and Kobe. So she was enjoying it. But for everybody, thanks for watching. To next Wednesday, once again, we don't have anything going on tomorrow, but next Wednesday, it is a pleasure to have actor, comedian, producer, St. Louisan, Guy Torey as our special guest. Gonna be a fun show. Shouts out to his sister Roberta McWoods, who was on our show in person a few months ago, and he enjoyed the show so much that he wanted to be on. So next Wednesday, it is going down on the platform Sports Talk Show with our special guest, Guy Torey. So it's gonna be fun, ladies. Thank you for being a part of Ladies Night. If y'all don't mind, just all stay on. After we go off the air, we can have a little debriefing for a little minute. Everybody else, thanks for tuning in. The platform.
Wait,
Oh, I'm
before
sorry. Go
you
ahead.
end, let me do one thing. Hold on a second. Before you end,
Uh-oh.
I just want to say congratulations to you. Like you said when we first started, and I, tuned in for the first show. You guys have come a long way. It's been so exciting to watch your growth as a program and all the different co-hosts that you've had, and with you being, the lead producer, Smooth, and just amazing work. And that's incredible. Just the people that you're getting on the show now, how you're using your platform to elevate, women in sports and women covering sports is exciting to see that that's been embedded from the beginning. And it's not, a trend for you all to engage women. You've recognized the importance of that the entire time. So I'm just really proud of you and the show and to have been on the sideline supporting it. So I just wanted to make sure that I said that as well. Congratulations on all your success, and I wish you much more.
No, you're gonna have me cry on national TV here. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Like, you know, everyone who's been a part of this show know that that's been my vision is to provide a platform for those to get their stories out. People know about what they do publicly, basketball wise, baseball, football, whatever, but they don't really know that story within the story. And that's what this show is all about. So everyone can be able to relate, to be like, oh, wow, this person did this when he or she was younger, and this person went through that, the struggles of going through this. So it's just the beauty of being able to provide that for those. So I appreciate it. Definitely committed long term. Big things happening, and look forward to it. And once again, thank you, Annie. Once again, Joe, thank you. Got to get you another hoodie or shirt coming up. Karen, thank you once again. Bunny, we'll talk later on, but y'all stay on as we'll do a little debriefing afterwards. Once again, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. When it's about sports, it becomes our business, and business continues to pick up. We out, right, with the rings on. Hey!